Stop into any store. No appointment necessary. We'd be happy to qualify you in store. And you can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. See store for details.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen, here to tell you how you can get the lowest price in history on the real Viagra formula made by Pfizer. Right now, Score Blue is offering generic Viagra for only $5 a pill. That's just $5 a pill for the exact same formula that has sold billions of pills worldwide. But don't confuse these pills, which are made by Pfizer, with the cheap and often fake imitation pills sold online. Those pills never work. So go to Score Blue right now and take advantage of this unheard of low price on real Viagra made by Pfizer at the lowest price in history. Score Blue was just named the #1 rated service in America, and this unheard of price of only $5 is to celebrate that honor. Visit Score Blue today and get ready to score.
Visit scoreblue.com today. That's scoreblue.com. Scoreblue.com is the #1 online ED service in the world. Scoreblue.com.
You work hard for a living here in the Mohawk Valley. You make a difference. You leave your mark. You deserve a financial advisor who works hard for you.
Local, prudent, and trustworthy. Van Meter & Van Meter are your full-service financial professionals. I'm Chris Van Meter, and I've spent my life helping people with financial planning, investing for the future, managing their wealth, planning their taxes, thinking about their legacy.
And I'm Dave Van Meter. Our team offers you the deep bench of financial professionals you deserve. We have the education, the experience, and the tools to make a difference for your future. Visit us at VanMeterLLC.com.
We're Van Meter & Van Meter. Call us at 315-823-9200 or visit us in Little Falls, Schuyler, or Palatine Bridge.
Securities and advisory services offered through Cattery Grant & Company Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member FINRA SIPC. Van Meter & Van Meter LLC and Cattery Grant & Company Incorporated are separate entities.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it, and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. Lumi was developed by an OBGYN. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, and that reassurance is worth every penny. Lumi has over 300,000 five-star reviews, and a 60-day money-back guarantee means you can try Lumi risk-free. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RISKFREE and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack, and ships free with code RISKFREE. LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey!
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
and tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, it's beautiful out. Just gorgeous. Yeah, it's sloppy. There are some school delays. We'll get to that coming up in a second. There's a winter weather advisory out there. And for most areas, though, at least down in the valleys and up here, you're just talking about sloppy conditions, especially on the side streets and all of that. Eventually today, it's going to turn to all rain.
Yeah.
Which we will
a little bit of sleep,
have for
freezing rain in the mix
for a couple of days. Andrew's going to be off next week, so we're bringing in guest hosts. I can see you're living in the Wednesday stress of getting everything done and getting ready to go.
Yeah, I mean,
like when we go on vacation, my wife is usually sitting upstairs with the suitcases, and I am downstairs doing last minute stuff.
It's been all week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been literally all week. And there's an expression in real estate, if you want to be busy in it, plan a vacation, because there's all that to throw in the mix as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, we have a lot to get to here today, here on Wednesday morning. Ryan Noble's coming in from NBC a little later on. As predicted yesterday, everybody kind of thought it was going to happen. Trump wins in New Hampshire. And I think those who are in the Republican Party who are anti-Trump are beginning to realize, I think he's probably going to be the candidate. Have you noticed, though, a new rhetoric that's happening for anti-Trump people in the Republican Party and Democrats? They're beginning to pick out things in Trump's speeches that don't make sense, like when he, instead of saying Nancy Pelosi, he says Nikki Haley and kept saying Nikki Haley. Now, simple faux pas. You're talking every single day. I mean, nobody's questioning Madonna when she said, hello, Boston, and she was in Toronto, right?
Right.
But it's interesting because that's been the rhetoric against Biden from Trump and from Republicans. And now, Trump is not a young guy either. And the question is, are we beginning to see a point where he's saying some odd things? Either way, it looks like he is a clear winner. I was watching a video from New Hampshire yesterday, and a guy said, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, he could walk up to the White House and shoot 3 people walking through the door, and I would still vote for him. He is here to save America, and that's how a lot of people see it. So I'm telling you, he is the Republican candidate. Don't look anywhere else.
Yeah,
there's nobody else.
I don't think Nikki Haley. I mean, if she doesn't win her home state of South Carolina,
which she's not going to, she's not going to win there. She's not even close in the polls. Not that the polls mean everything, but and then the other part of this is that there are some that are saying that DeSantis actually suspended his campaign temporarily, that something is going to happen with Trump, and then he will come back in at the convention. Again, there are conspiracy theories on both sides.
Yes.
My favorite yesterday was a woman also in New Hampshire who said, that, and believe me, there are a lot of, I know people who believe this to be true. That Biden's not running the country, that Barack is running the country. Barack and his partner. And the interviewer said, so Michelle Obama, right? And Michael Obama.
Oh, my God.
So the guy's like, you do know she ain't a she. So I was just entertained tremendously. Meanwhile, this is and I get it, but you are dealing with a woman who has an entire high school history, elementary history, a history in Chicago, a history of going through law school. Man, they spent many, many years creating this fake gender situation in order for her to, or him to, what?
Run for president? I
don't know. But it's what people are believing right now. There's so much misinformation.
It's totally irrelevant to anything.
Right, what does it even matter,
I
right?
mean,
Right, which is kind of what I was thinking. But it was just so much misinformation. It's a bit crazy. Syracuse yesterday and by the way, Biden won the New Hampshire primary too. They were secretly launching a write-in campaign because he was not on that ballot because South Carolina will be first in the country, and so Biden ultimately won the New Hampshire primary as well, as if anyone really cares at this point. Syracuse yesterday really was playing well with Florida State. It was a game. Mm-hmm. Did you see it?
I did not watch, but Smitty gave me the recap.
It was a game, and we were grabbing a bite to eat after a funeral service and watching the game. Everything looked good, back and forth. 1 up, 2 up, maybe 2 down, back and forth. And then I got home and realized they got clobbered. It was a blowout, kind of.
Yeah, and towards the end it was.
The defense just fell to pieces. The rails. Yeah, everything went off the rails.
Including their home winning streak, so there you go. Easy come, easy go.
They're saying that the schedule, they keep looking at the new football schedule at Syracuse, and it looks like for the first time Syracuse is going to have a program first game against UNLV. That'll be kind of interesting. Let's see. And here's another one that I wanted to get Davey's opinion on. Do you think the Buffalo Bills or somebody in the maintenance crew shut off the hot water at the end of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs? They're investigating. The Chiefs are saying they turned off the hot water.
Oh, for their showers?
Yeah. And, the Bills are saying, that's a problem here all the time. I mean, we barely ever have hot water.
The pipe
it's just
froze.
craziness. Yeah, what are you seeing, Davey? Are you seeing that maybe they did?
I think they did.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. They did it.
Okay, you're with it.
Yeah.
Boy, if that's the conspiracy we have to worry about, I think we're in pretty good shape. Yeah. How are the roads out there, Davey?
A little
slick. Just slushy.
Yeah.
You'll be dealing with a little some slushiness, so be aware of that. A terrible crash in the city of Rome ended up the best it possibly could. A man, woman, and 2 young children were all injured in a crash when the driver tried to avoid a deer, ran into a road near Rome, according to deputies. The vehicle went off the road, hit a tree, caught fire. The man driving was able to get himself and everybody else out of the car, according to the United County Sheriff's Department. Gary Niles of Blossville was driving west on Oswego Road at about 7:53 in the morning when a deer ran out in front of his 2008 Honda, and he lost control, went off the road, and hit a tree. The fact is, you have to be worried about not only hitting a deer, but being on icy or snowy roads. A deer pops in, you try to avoid that deer, and something like this could happen.
Yep.
But it ended well, which is a real positive. Elsewhere out there this morning, there is a contractor in Lee. This is a Sentinel story. So you want work done on your home? The contractor asks for a down payment. You give the down payment in the fall, and now here we are still today. No work has been done or planned to have the work completed. You see these things happen? Mm-hmm. Lee man facing a felony charge on accusations of taking down a payment or taking a down payment for contract work in the town of Paris, then, according to the sheriff's office, not finishing the job. Sheriff's deputies said Christopher Waller, hired to complete home repairs in Paris in September, took a portion of the fee as a down payment, but never followed through on the job. What do you suggest as a real estate person?
Well, I would say to vet people and talk to your agent or other people about recommendations as far as
to get a vet to do the work.
No, to vet.
To vet them. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I would say completely misunderstood.
Interview at least 2 or 3. That's always the rule. I usually like to give 2 or 3 names out to people for various things.
Yeah, and it's always nice to have someone who knows. Who someone knows and has had work done and you can trust.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, though, we make the mistake of trying to save a buck. And when
that's the big key.
Trying to save the big buck
will end up costing you.
It ends up costing in the long run.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that You got to look at reviews. You got to look at social media. I mean, just type in a person's name in social media, and you'll be surprised what comes up.
The Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown announcing their candidates this year for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Those who will be inducted: Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Helton will all go into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Davey, I want you to get on mic over there because I want your take on those who are now falling off and will no longer be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, there's one of them.
And I feel bad for Billy Wagner. He's at 73.1%, but Adrian Beltrade and Joe Mauer are first time inductors, and then Todd Helton got in on the 6th try. And next year's class isn't really big anyway, so except for Ichiro, but maybe Wagner and Gary Sheffield will get in next year.
When did was it last year that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens fell off?
Yeah,
I believe so.
But Alex Rodriguez got 35% of the ballot of the vote.
Well, he's not going to make it either.
No.
Well,
cheater.
They're saying that the thing that hurt in Sheffield is because his name was clarified on the Mitchell report when it came out in the first stage. But I feel bad for. I mean, I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. And Billy Wagner is one of the greatest all-time closers besides Mariano Rivera and Lee Smith. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame, yeah. Well, it is what it is.
So there's a total of 4 people. It's Mauer, Adrian Beltrade, Todd Helton, and Jim Leland.
Yeah, Leland
so
earlier
good class in
last
Cooperstown
year.
coming up in the summertime.
The Bills kicker, Tyler Bass, who missed that field goal. I don't know if you guys saw what happened here. Of course, being bullied and with death threats online.
Yeah, he had to deactivate his social media accounts. Just sickening.
But in true fashion, listen, I'm going to say Buffalo fans can be really bad. They'll turn your hot water off. They'll make death threats when you lose the game. But it is deep down, the average Bills fan is a good person. So now the Bills fans who are decent have decided to make it right. Following Sunday's game in which the NFL player missed a 44-yard field goal that would have brought the Bills even with the Chiefs, fans are raising money for Tyler Bass.
Well, and you got to remember, too.
I don't know why you're raising money. It's like we're going to raise money. It's actually for his charity, I think.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to pay him.
I think because the way
good job missing that kick.
What are they paying him for? He's making good money. No, it's for his 10 Lives Club, which is a no-kill cat rescue and shelter in Erie County. They are determined to support the athlete. In the last 2 days, Bills fans have raised more than $100,000.
Wow!
In Tyler Bass's honor
to save the kitties,
to save the cats. A no-kill. Well, I think they're going to change the name of the organization to No Kill Tyler Bass. But they've raised over $100,000.
The wide right non-kill shelter.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And I think Cincinnati and Buffalo have both kind of. I remember Buffalo fans have raised money for Andy Dalton's charity in the past. There was some connection to Cincinnati there.
Cincinnati fans have returned the favor with what's his name?
Damar Hamlin, yeah.
When Hamlin went down. The Utica School Board meeting, this is another Sentinel story. You can read about this in the OD next week. New year brings a new feeling for Utica teachers, and the feeling is, this is the teachers' union rep reporting to the district and the board. The word is fear.
Really?
According to, in yesterday's meeting, the vice president of the Utica Teachers Association at Proctor said there's been a startling rise in violence in the district. Some teachers are now in fear of coming to work.
This is something that I do like that show, Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. I watch it, pretty regularly. And this was something that he had brought up in one of his new rules segments at the end of the show, and he was showing video clips from high schools around the country, and it really is a problem. Like teachers being literally attacked, hit, things thrown at by students, verbally assaulted.
Well, where was it, in Georgia or wherever that happened, where the teacher, the kid had a gun, and the teacher got ended up getting grazed or shot.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have lost her life. And their fear is at Utica is with these ghost guns. A lot of times you're taught they use 3D printers, and these ghost guns come in and they're plastic, so they wouldn't show up on a metal detector.
Yeah, or they've got no serial number or anything like that.
We have some school delays for you this morning because of the inclement weather. Most of this will happen in areas where it's a bit higher elevation. We have not I don't know, has there been maybe a couple of schools who have had a school closing this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's mostly been delays.
I don't think, many schools have had no snow days whatsoever this year.
Which is surprising because as opposed to when I was in school.
I'm going to tell you, though, beware. Even 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I remember this time when it was just mild, got to Valentine's Day. We had a big Valentine's Day storm, feet of snow, and it just seemed to snow for 2 months after that.
Yeah.
So,
We've been lucky so far.
In fact, that year, they had not had a single snow day. And there were schools that ran out of snow days. If you remember, Utica had the big problem with people going off on spring break and teachers going off on spring break, and they tried to make everybody go to school an extra day, and people's flights were out of town. It was a huge controversy. Anyway, here we go with the delays that we have here this morning. On a 2-hour delay is Adirondack, Dowsville, Little Falls Central School District is on a 2-hour delay. Poland Central School on a 2-hour delay. No AM BOCES, no AM pre-K. And West Canada Valley Central School is on a 2-hour delay. There is a 1-hour delay at Edmiston Central School to the south. So
don't forget the 2-hour delay at the Mohawk Valley Christian Academy,
which is in Little Falls, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Kathy is in Rome. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, there's a little snow on the ground, not enough to make a big deal about.
Not really, right. I mean, you're not going to go out there and make a giant snowman, but there's a little snow out there.
I look at it as each day we get a decent temperature day is one day closer to spring, and it's that much less oil that I use.
You're right. We're probably getting it easy this year on the amount of heating fuel that's being used this year.
So
And,
far, I've done real well. They filled the tank early in October, and I had them come last week and fill the tank, and I only took 134 gallons. So
wow.
I'm doing pretty good.
So you're on oil. There are people that are heating with propane, heating with oil. What else do you heat with? Gas. Kerosene,
the
and
electricity and the oil.
Gas, yeah. Okay, so you use a little electric, and that can be very expensive.
Yeah, well, we pay on that every week, so we keep a rounding balance going, so we don't go into debt. My question for calling is: Did you heard about the government officials in the state of Ohio coming up, and they're going to be voting on paying kids to go to school? So if you have perfect attendance, every biweekly you're going to get some money in an account. And I think that's atrocious to have to pay kids to go to school. You should want to go to school.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. This was in the first in the New York Post. Students as young as 5 could get paid for attending school under an Ohio proposal in bid to fight truancy, in their bid to fight absenteeism. So the only thing I would say about this is I think it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, taxpayers are paying for school and whatever to expect taxpayers to pay kids to go to school.
Right.
I just wanted to mention it. I was just wondering, people around here, how they, would feel about something like that.
Okay. Well, my guess is, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think most people are probably against it here. And I'm going to say this to you, Kathy. Most people are probably against it in Ohio. Remember, Ohio, very much like New York, they have their own legislature, and there are usually a few kooks in the legislature.
Oh, yeah.
So they propose bills,
definitely.
and the bills get all the attention. I mean, some of the stuff that's come from the far left Democrats in New York City is just wackadoo. You wouldn't even, and this, I think, is the same type of thing.
Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it when they start voting on something like that.
All right. We
All
will
right, take care.
So,
Bye-bye.
Kathy, hold on. Kathy in Rome.
We're going to do the same thing.
I've been waiting for you to call in because I have to say that.
Can I just say before you ask, Kathy, wouldn't it be nice if they paid us to come in and work here in radio?
Oh, that would be great.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It'd be a nice little incentive. I'll tell you that.
It would be. But no. You should be you're privileged to be working.
I graduated from high school in 75.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always thought, well, it would be nice if we had, a 4-day week and once in a while you had a Friday off.
Yeah.
But there's too much and there's so much to learn. I think that it's got to be every bit of time that you can spend in school.
And don't you think, Kathy, don't you feel like, even though now you're a little bit older than me, and don't you feel like every day that you're alive, there's something new that you learn? I mean, it's really quite incredible.
Well, I also look at it as there's a lot to learn, and I also realize now that I'm older that the days of the week and everything in the month just flies by.
That just flies by, yeah.
I'm more appreciative of every day that I have.
Well, that's a wonderful way to look at it. Here's Andrew to make you feel bad.
I'm gonna make you feel better.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you feel better because I've been waiting for you to call in because I know your affinity for Michigan State athletics, and our boy Jaden Reed on the Green Bay Packers was I learned a Michigan State player.
Yes,
and he was great this year.
We keep an eye on the Michigan State grads that go pro and everything, and my husband's always saying he's outstanding. So thank you very much, Andrew.
Well, no problem.
All
I was
right.
thinking about you.
And you look and sound wonderful today, Kathy. Thank you.
I hope so. I'm still getting over my cold, but I'm doing pretty good.
Doing well. Yes,
all right.
You're doing
Feel
well.
I get every shot in creation that I'm supposed to, and I still get sick.
Very well. I know it still happens. So, all right.
Take
good luck.
care.
Good luck out
Bye-bye.
there. Thank you. Today, by the way, as I just complimented Kathy, is National Compliment Day.
Oh, well.
So,
where was
Andrew,
mine? I
you
haven't
look,
come. Thank you.
You look real. You look good, Andrew.
Yeah, you're there. You're there, Val. You're there.
Just having you here is such a good look on you. Davey, you look good in the dark. I can't see a single thing.
Is that a lamp? Is that a lamp in there? We can kind of.
He's got a lamp. We've gone back to the 70s.
At least we can make out that he's in there.
I'm going to do candlelight.
I'm not going to complain because they're building us all new studios. So
yeah, they are.
There's going to be there'll be a bump in the road here and there from time to time as we get these new studios and the new equipment. So I'm all in. Today is National Compliment Day, so say something nice to someone you know.
I like that shirt.
Thank you. It's really ugly.
No, I don't think so.
But
let's put it to a poll for everybody watching on YouTube.
It was clean and ironed.
I like the way Syracuse played most of the game last night.
Okay,
there you go.
There's a compliment. Yeah.
I won't compliment myself. I mean, my wardrobe is limited to what will still fit me, unfortunately.
Today is the 40th anniversary of the Macintosh computer.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for that.
Love it. I'm a real believer of the Apple products. So
Return of the Mac.
Boy, the people fans of is it Margot Robbie?
This is a
Barbie,
huge controversy.
Livid.
Yeah, they're just as mad as the Taylor Swift fans with people insult her.
So she did not, nor did the movie
the director
get. I mean, and this thing was a phenom. It was a huge performer.
$1 billion maker.
But does the $1 billion maker mean the movie is great? Is that how the Oscars
look
look
of
at
all
things?
Think of all the Marvel movies that made billions of dollars, and that's not really an Oscar-worthy film.
That's a very good point. What I have heard from a lot of people is over the years, over this past year, is who watched the movie, and I saw it. It wasn't necessarily for me, but I saw it. A lot of people loved this movie. Really thought it had a great message and
women empowerment too, and
empowerment.
And then the guy who plays Ken gets the Oscar nomination, and nobody else.
Yeah,
I don't mean to laugh.
That is not going over well.
Ironic.
At all. Remember the program on CBS Sunday Morning? If you ever turn CBS Sunday Morning was always different than the other news programs. You have your Meet the Press. You have Fox News Sunday. Now all the networks seem to the cable networks have them. But CBS Sunday Morning was always more like a PBS show.
Okay.
It was just more. It's where you would. There's just it feels.
It was boring.
Like it was more respectable.
Okay.
It was more artsy. It was more boring. Is that what you said? Yeah. Davey, you know, right?
Are you going down the road with Charles Osgood?
Charles Osgood, the Osgood Files.
Yeah, we used to air that at 5:25 every morning when we were a CBS affiliate years ago.
I remember.
WIBX.
I was going to reference that. I loved that segment that he would do, and it did it for years and years. He has just passed away, and it's said that he was suffering from very severe dementia and passed away from dementia. But Charles Osborne has passed away.
We used to have this
Osgood, I'm sorry.
We used to have this cart. 525 Osgood file.
Died of dementia. He was, you know how old he was?
91.
91 years old. Yep. And covered so much, whether it be on the radio or on CBS Sunday Morning.
Yeah, Jane Pauley took over from him hosting.
Okay. Hot on the heels of Al King performing drunk at Dolly Parton's tribute, pro golfer John Daly was performing recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was hammered, performing Knocking on Heaven's Door in Nashville. Here he is giving his best shot. Now, remember, he's bombed. He
was really giving his best shot.
He's lit. He's after drinking his best shot.
Yes.
He's giving it his best shot. Here we go.
Find out where you're from, and we'll do this.
All right, that's terrible. That's just awful.
Well, in fairness, he's a golfer and she was a singer.
That is a very, very good point.
He's allowed to be a little bit off.
That's a very good point.
It's actually not that bad, honestly.
It's not that bad, considering. I mean, she was so much worse.
Yeah.
Did I mention longtime host of CBS Sunday Morning, Charles Osgood, had died? I was looking for the clip all through this last conversation, and I couldn't find it.
You did mention that.
He died of dementia, of course, we said, 91 years old. Davey was just mentioning the Osgood file on radio, and I just found a clip. This is from radio, which we used to air when we were a CBS station, one of the original CBS stations, CBS Radio. Here it is.
It's been a great run, but after nearly 50 years at CBS, including the last 22 years here at Sunday Morning, the time has come. Between now and my last Sunday morning, I've got to practice singing that old Weaver's song. So long, it's been good to know you. So long, it's been good to know you. Been a long time since I've been home, and I've got to be drifting along. I will see you on the radio.
Not a singer by any means,
like
but
John Daly.
Boy, though, you used to listen to that the Osgood file, and it was just that was good. That was good. And Paul Harvey was another one that you always loved to hear. Oh, and I always would look forward to the Tanya Powers report.
The Tanya
J. Powers report
program,
and that was on Fox News Radio, I think,
wasn't
it? Back in the day.
We're bringing it back.
And here she is. We're going Throwback Wednesday here.
Yeah, there you go.
Good morning.
Back Wednesday.
Good morning, Tanya Powers.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Wonderful. You sound like you were a little under the weather.
Yes.
I am barely hanging on to what shred of a voice that I still have. It was really loud in there last night, and I think I just about blew out most of it trying to be heard.
Wow. I can only imagine, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna have to vocal rest for a little bit after this. But you know, we're up and at 'em and doing our thing here in New Hampshire, and I got to tell you, this is just, you know, this is the most fun a reporter can have, honestly, and I mean that sincerely. I love doing this.
You're in the middle of all of it, and you know, there are very few people who will ever be able to say they were in the middle of all of it, and you were, so that's something. Big victory for Trump. Would you call it? It doesn't seem like it is a Haley ending victory, but it's a big one.
It is a big one. I mean, he won, you know, what, 54% to, I think 43% was the final number that we've got so far. The margin was not as large as I think a lot of people, it seemed like, including him, thought it might be or should be.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think that a lot of people expected him to run away with this with at least 20 points. You know, and for it to be like 11 is way smaller than, you know, it's still a decisive victory for sure. But it's if you're looking at, you know, the strength of somebody who is basically an incumbent, you know, with the Republican Party, that's not the kind of expectation you may have had. Matter of fact, during his speech last night, he did not seem pleased. He seemed irritated and you know, kind of frustrated with how things turned out, maybe because it did not, you know, knock her out. She did not come out during her speech, which was made, you know, not too long after the polls had closed and it was called for him. And he spoke later, but she had come out, and hers, if you didn't know she had lost New Hampshire, you may have thought she won. Or at least that all the votes weren't counted and that the jury was still out and it wasn't called. I mean, this was and having been there in Concord last night at the event where, you know, she spoke, that was not a crowd that was witnessing a loss in a primary. They were not, you know, like, they didn't have the expression on their face like, well, we gave it a good run. That was not it. It was like, let's go, let's South Carolina, come on, you know. And I was very interested to see that, because I've seen a lot of different crowds leave after election night, you know, gatherings,
crying, right? I mean,
these were not the folks who looked terribly upset.
So interesting. It remained through the whole day. Kind of the numbers that were coming in, and I realize this is exit polling, but the numbers that were coming in and then the counting seemed to stay within a single digit. I mean, it was just staying within that single digit margin. But the reality is, I think most people felt like she was going to get crushed. So the question will be, going into South Carolina, is this what she needs for people to look and say, wow, she might actually have a chance? And it's amazing. It's kind of like walking into a restaurant and nobody's in there. Do you want to be the first party in? But you walk into a restaurant, it's hustling and bustling, and everybody's there. You feel more comfortable with it. The same thing holds true, I think, with voting. You want to know you're voting for somebody who can win oftentimes. So your thoughts on that?
She is backed by people and seems to represent a section of the voters that are the more traditional Republican conservatives. I mean, that is, you know, her platform has been about fiscal conservatism and the kind of the core things that you would have expected from, you know, a Bush era sort of, you know. I mean, it's not a throwback, but it kind of is now because of the, you know, the Trump wing of the party. You know, they seem excited and ready to go to South Carolina. That is her home state. I mean, even in last night's speech, she's talking about the things that she's done for the people of South Carolina when she was governor. So, you know, she's kind of already gotten sort of that out there on a national stage of here's what I accomplished. She's been doing that. It'll be interesting to see how this goes, because this is now, of course, you know, money he's got to spend. And he made this point, I think, when he spoke on Fox News after the results were in. He said, now we've got to spend more money fighting, you know, Nikki Haley instead of putting it toward the general and President Biden. which I think also irritated him. He made fun of her dress at one point. I mean, it was a really interesting speech if you haven't heard it. But, that's kind of what it gets down to. It also, South Carolina's primary is a month. So there's some lag time between now and when they go to the polls there.
Right.
There's also, these next 2 months are going to be crucial for him as far as court cases go. So it's not like this is the only thing on his plate like it was in 2016 or 2020. He's got a whole host of other things on his mind. Obviously, one is that big verdict that's coming here in New York at some point. Over whether he can do business in the state or not, So I mean, there's a lot going on as far as he's concerned. Not just this, which may have added to his frustration.
And there is that exhaustion. And you hear it from many Republicans. I liked Trump. I liked his policies. You hear that a lot. That seems to be a go-to. But at the end of the day, you've heard people say, but I just if he gets in, it's just going to be chaos. I think we need 2 new people. You hear that often. Yeah. But so far, there's not been one single person that's offered up that option. And this could be, at the very least, she didn't fall through the ice. There's a little cracking, but she didn't fall through the ice. We'll see what happens in South Carolina.
Yeah. She's positioned herself as an alternative to octogenarians.
Yeah.
And she has not wasted any time in letting people forget that, a lot has been made of Biden's age, but Trump's only 3 years behind him.
Right,
I mean, it's not like there's a huge gap.
Yeah.
So that's part of the thing she's been talking about a lot, and we can expect more of that. I think things are probably going to get a lot uglier, especially from the Trump side. He's already kind of projected that that's what's going to happen soon.
Tanya, I want to say your voice is actually getting better as you go
improved
on.
Already. Must
so
be us.
We're not going to push it, but have a wonderful day and feel much better.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
You do the same. Thank you. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News, the Tanya Powers File. Okay, next hour, Leon is in. Leon Etienne. He has a big show.
Just walked through the door
Saturday at the Stanley. Hobica's free money question of the day. We're going to get to that. Scott Flansburgh, the human calculator. He has big news on the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame, New York State's Basketball Hall of Fame. We'll get into that coming up. He is collecting signatures as we speak, or I guess, can you collect now? Is that open yet?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. But he's going to have to get signatures in order to run against Senator Joe Griffo. Will Fiacco has asked to come back. I think our last conversation, he was explaining that there are no jobs in the area, no opportunity. People are moving out in droves, and schools are allowing cat pans for children who identify as cats. I'm sure you've heard that story. There is zero evidence anywhere in America, zero, that there's any truth to that. And we've been told by several administrators here in town that there is no such thing here. But we'll speak with him coming up. Also, Ryan Nobles from NBC coming up in a bit on a Wednesday morning at WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Former President Trump wins again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is a great, great state. We won New Hampshire 3 times now, 3.
The former president won the Republican primary, beating Nikki Haley by about 11 points.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
And speaking before the former president, Haley told the crowd she'd stay in the race, which he didn't like.
This is not your typical victory speech, but let's not have somebody take a victory when she had a very bad night.
Fox's Brooks Sigmund reports.
Voter analysis shows 87% of New Hampshire Republicans who identify as MAGA supporters back the former president. Trump also receiving support from 68% of conservative voters.
But Haley told supporters with Trump, you get chaos and legal issues, even senior moments.
The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
President Biden won a Democratic primary that didn't count, getting more than 60% of the vote.
Supporters of President Biden had to write in his name. He did not appear on the primary ballot here, keeping in step with the DNC's decision to have South Carolina's February primary host the first contest. Still, a grassroots write-in campaign proved successful and well ahead of Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips. Phillips says he is staying in the race.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Bedford, New Hampshire. It's a rough morning in Ukraine. Hours after another barrage of Russian missiles killed at least 18 people. A plane believed to be full of Ukrainian prisoners crashed in Russia.
Russia's defense ministry says the Il-76 aircraft came down in the Belgorod region near the Ukrainian border. According to the governor there, nobody survived. In claims we can't verify, officials in Moscow say it had on board 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The U.S. went on the attack again, hitting Iran-backed militant targets in Iraq and Yemen. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
518-554-0000. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time 7:03. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now it's 33 degrees with some light precipitation. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Do be aware that roadways in some areas may be slick. We do have some school delays to let you know about. Adirondack, Dalgeville on a 2-hour delay with no AM BOCES. Edmiston Central School on a 1-hour delay. Little Falls, 2-hour delay, no AM pre-K. Mohawk Valley Christian Academy, 2-hour delay. Poland Central Schools on a 2-hour delay with no AM pre-K or BOCES. And West Canada Valley, 2-hour delay with no AM BOCES. This update is brought to you by the Stanley Center of the Arts, presenting Sanders and Stories with Tony Danza. April 6th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. 4 people are continuing to recover after being injured in a crash in Oneida County. Authorities say a man was traveling on Oswego Road in Rome yesterday when a deer went in front of his vehicle. That caused the driver to swerve, triggering a spin that led to the vehicle going off the road and hitting a tree before catching fire. The driver was able to get himself and 3 passengers out of the burning vehicle. Everyone involved in the accident is expected to survive. Centro is going to be holding a nationwide search as the organization tries to find a brand new CEO. Brian Schultz has left the position he held since 2020 due to medical reasons. As part of his separation agreement, Schultz will get a lump sum payment of over $51,000 and more than $45,000 for untaken paid time off. Centro says Schultz had been on leave since October and that Deputy CEO Christopher Tuff will keep leading the organization on an interim basis. A bill has been introduced in the state legislature that calls for health insurers to cover co-payments for Paxlovid. The drug is used to help people who contract COVID-19 recover quicker, but co-payments for the medication can run as $140. The federal government previously covered that cost, but no longer does. Paxlovid has been proven to reduce the risk of death from coronavirus by 73%. If approved, this measure would go into effect next year. And the CNYSPCA is hoping to find animals their forever homes during an event that is taking place this weekend. The Get Your Pet On adoption event is happening Saturday and will give folks the chance to meet and visit with dogs, cats, guinea pigs, and hamsters at the facility. The event runs from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the shelter located on East Malloy Road. For more information, head to cnyspca.org. WIBX 950 news time is 7:05. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News chief meteorologist Craig Flint. It's brought to you by Destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, leftover rain showers and drizzle, light sleet, freezing rain early, mainly higher elevations to the north and northeast. Milder afternoon with rain redeveloping by sunset, a high of 41. Tonight, relatively mild for late January with occasional light rain, a low near 35. For more on your local forecast, tune Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
33 degrees with some mixed precipitation. It is 7:06. Sports brought to you by IBEW 43 Local. The top story of sports today is the National Baseball Hall of Fame announcing the inductees of its 2024 class. Those being inducted include third baseman Adrian Beltre, catcher Joe Mauer, and first baseman Todd Helton. The induction ceremony will take place on July 21st in Cooperstown, New York. We will speak with Craig Muter of the Baseball Hall of Fame coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Meanwhile, to college basketball, Syracuse basketball, unfortunately, giving up their 3-game win streak, and unfortunately their home winning streak. Syracuse was unable to extend the winning streak to 3 games, I should say. They lost to Florida State last night, 85-69. Excuse me. It was a close one up until it wasn't. The Orange dropped to 13-6 and will host NC State on Saturday night. The Raiders are closing in on hiring their new general manager. ESPN reports Vegas is working to hire former Chargers general manager Tom Telesco as their new GM. The 51-year-old has served as the Chargers GM since 2013 and was responsible for drafting Pro Bowlers such as Justin Herbert, wide receiver Keenan Allen, and defensive end Joey Bosa. The Milwaukee Bucks have found their next head coach. ESPN reports the team has reached out to Doc Rivers and is currently in conversations with him to become the franchise's next head coach. Rivers is currently an NBA analyst on the Four Letter Network and most recently coached the Philadelphia 76ers. He was let go in the offseason after leading Philly to 3 consecutive Eastern Conference semifinals appearances. Let's face it, pain can be an unwelcome companion in our lives, especially when it impacts our everyday activities. And a lot of people who are dealing with pain, they want to try to avoid anything like surgery, or they want to get away from pain pills or those injections they have to get that can be quite expensive. Well, I've got something for you. It's soft wave tissue regeneration technology. It's an incredible advancement offered at Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. It is a game changer. It's come from Germany, and that's where it was developed, and it's made its way to Utica. Dr. Tim Delmedico of Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street says it's a game changer. It's non-invasive. It is free from those pills, injections, and downtime. You can get back to regular activity after these treatments. It's so effective, it's even used by NFL teams, the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, and Rob Esch of the Utica Comets organization, formerly of the NHL. This cutting-edge technology isn't limited to common pain areas. It addresses neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, which is usually corrected by surgery. The treatment is swift. It boasts an outstanding 90% success rate, and it works by using high-speed sound waves that stimulate blood flow and stem cells to the affected area. It promotes natural healing. So if you've exhausted all other options and you want to try to avoid surgery or other extreme methods of pain relief, call Revive Softwave Therapy. Don't let pain dictate your life when there is a solution available. You can reach out to Dr. Tim Delmedico at 315-725-8427, or you can see videos of the treatment, testimonials, and get more information at reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com. Reclaim a life free from debilitating pain and take the step towards a pain-free future today.
All right, coming up, we'll speak with Leon Etienne. Big show happening at the Stanley on Saturday. Also, big news for the Herkimer 9 and for Scott Flansburgh. We'll do that. Habaika's free money question of the day as well. We will get to. And then, who is it here? This is such a clunky, these messages. What's your Davey, what is your brother-in-law's name?
Matt.
All right, Matt says, who sets cruise control on a backcountry road in slippery conditions? Is that what caused the
I don't
accident
have that information
in Rome?
No.
because you do not want to be running cruise control on a road like that in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean, my only thought on that is you can deactivate cruise control pretty quickly.
You can, but you have to usually do it. I mean, you can do it from the steering wheel, but you normally hit the brake.
Right.
Cruise control, the time you begin to go into your slide and the time that the cruise control gets shut off, you will be in you have the potential of being in a very bad situation. You should not run cruise control on a country road in slippery conditions. You're on the thruway, it's dry, run it. I hate cruise control because it doesn't pass people enough.
It limits your speed.
It limits it, and, mine is really accurate. I mean, you get going along, and all of a sudden there's a car that pulls out in front of you, bang, slows right down. I hate that.
I actually like that feature.
No, because what
mine will
do,
just keep going.
I feel like the fourth lane is always the side of the road because you can go around those people.
Right, the shoulder.
Both sides, shoulder of the road. I'm just saying. Cruise control, you can't do that.
No,
just
no.
can't.
It's too controlled.
And I'm talking
in the name.
We'll be talking to two guys who do a lot of driving, so they'll know exactly what we're talking about. Hold tight. We're coming right back. It's 7:12 at WIBX.
Are you ready for a buying experience like no other? Head to Steve Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. They're bursting with inventory. Over 100 brand new Chevys on the lot. Check out the newly redesigned Chevy Trax or power through any terrain with their all-wheel drive Chevy Trailblazer or Chevy Equinox. Looking for something sturdy? Their lot is loaded with Chevy Silverados, the epitome of strength and reliability. And get $6,000 off or take advantage of interest rates as low as 1.9%. Steve Ponte Chevy. Find new roads with incredible savings. Visit them on Route 28 in Herkimer or at stevepontechevy.com. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevy.
$6,000 off 2024 LT or RST Silverado with 2.7-liter engine. Must currently own or lease 2010 or newer Chevy car or truck. $2,500 must trade in 2010 or newer car or truck to eligible model or 1.9% with qualifying credit through GM Financial. One tier, 36 months. Offer ends 1/31/24.
Retirement Outlook.
If your retirement account is mostly stocks or bonds, listen closely. The future of your savings may be more uncertain than ever before. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals. The sad truth is, our government continues to eat away at our freedoms and security. In economic times like these, run around the flagpole by lunatics in Washington, I look to the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver that you own. At Colonial Metals, we specialize in helping folks with IRAs and 401ks and other retirement accounts move their savings into physical gold and silver. If you'd like a free gold investment kit, give us a call today at 820-800-8000. My team is standing by ready to rush a free gold investment kit to you. You may also qualify for $7,500 in free silver and a free safe. Call 820-800-8000 now. That's 820-800-8000.
Colonial Metals is not a financial advisor. Consult with your advisor before investing.
That's 820-800-8000.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractor, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team. Whitesboro is a leading school system in Central New York. With 7 schools, 3,100 students, and holding a 92% graduation rate, you can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Perfect for retirees with extra time. Help drive our future leaders with Whitesboro Central School Transportation. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
EasyCater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backing you up. So I order food on EasyCater for a meeting with a new client in Jackson.
Gotta feed clients in Jackson.
On my way to the airport, it hits me. The client is actually in Jacksonville.
Feed clients in Jacksonville. Oopsie.
So I call EasyCater. Nina picks up right away.
Gonna fix it for you.
She called me right back and said you're all set.
Nina fixed the Jackson accident.
Jackson? EasyCater has your back with 24/7 support. Order at easycater.com and know.
We got your back.
If you love them enough to turn off your music, and pretend like their music is your music.
Ah, this is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code NAKED and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code NAKED. LUMEdeodorant.com, code NAKED for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code NAKED.
I want to tell you, River Hills Properties, real estate agency in the area, #1 in independent real estate agencies for the entire region. #2 if you include the big chains, and that's a big step for a company that no one knew their name 10 years ago. That's River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills, and they mean it. It's full service. From start to finish, it's about lowering that stress level. It's about making it efficient. Believe me, everybody wants to sell the house fast. Nobody wants to have a home go up on the market and have it sit there. So if you can do every little possible thing to make for the perfect circumstance, it's just likely that you will increase the chances of selling that home quicker. And we saw it when our home was sold by River Hills in under a week. And Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica, online it's River Hills Properties, LLC.com. Your listing agent is there every single time the house is shown. That is a big deal. Making sure you're putting your best foot forward, and there's someone there always to answer the questions. It's peace of mind for the seller, and it's incredibly helpful for the buyer. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Call 315-896-1009.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, in studio right now, we have a couple in studio. Actually, Leon, if you could even come a little bit more.
We got to get you on the YouTube.
Yeah, then I can actually make the switch and people can see you both there. Leon Etienne, big show this weekend.
Yes.
And the human calculator, Scott Flansburgh. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Did not know this is the first time the two of you have never met before.
We have never met. I have heard this gentleman's name all the time. I know he does wonderful things. He's blown my mind already in studio today.
Yeah.
And our paths have never really crossed until this moment. So it's awesome to meet you.
And let's see. I mean, Scott and I go way, way back.
Racquetball days.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Remember that?
Keeler on a racquetball? Oh, yeah.
Oh, loved racquetball. And I think I knocked a guy's tooth out.
It can be a violent sport.
It can. My friend Gordon Ackerman in Little Falls, we were playing at the Y, and you got to get that. You got to hit that ball. I mean, and winning is everything. And I whacked him right side the head.
With the racket?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he got in the way.
Well, yeah.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's right. That's right.
So, Gordy, I apologize, but I think he's okay today, though. All is good. Okay, Leon, let's talk about this show. You're at the Stanley this weekend?
Yeah. So this Saturday, we're back at the Stanley Theater for the first time in 10 years, which is absolutely amazing to think about because I don't know where the 10 years have gone.
Has it been that long?
It's been 10 years, almost to the day. I mean, we're about a week short. It was February 4th, 2014 was the last time we were at the Stanley. And this is the big show, guys. This is the show we do in Vegas and Atlantic City. We're bringing it to Miami next month. So this is the big one. These are all the grand illusions I've done on America's Got Talent, on Penn and Teller Fool Us, Jimmy Fallon, the whole thing. completely family friendly. But if you just want to go on date night, that's cool too. But
Yeah.
bring everyone. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
There are still tickets left. You can go to magicrocks.com.
MagicRocks.com. Can you go to the box office, or you got to go?
You can absolutely go right
Okay.
to the Stanley box office and grab them as well. Save yourself some Ticketmaster fees.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Very nice. And so this is the big show. It's Saturday night, and I think that most people probably have not seen this show.
No. Because when I'm up in Old Forge, we do like the medium-sized version of the show, and I'm always testing new material up there.
Yeah.
This is the seasoned show that we take all over the world, and I'm really proud for Utica to see it. There's a lot at my warehouse is here. I'm a Utica boy. Growing up in West Utica, the Stanley was my Radio City Music Hall, right? I drive by that thing and always dream of performing there. It happened once, and now it's happening again, and we'd love to have a good turnout on Saturday.
All right, cool. So magicrocks.com or go to the Stanley box office. And Scott Flansburgh in as well. And Scott, we got together playing racquetball a long time ago, and this goes back to the early K-Rock days.
Yes, 80s.
And I spent most of the 90s trying to convince him to go to the casino with me.
I got blacklisted in 97.
Yeah, that was the end of that.
Oh, yeah. So you had never been back since, huh?
Well,
so what's the name thing? There was something going on a second ago between everybody here. What is the name thing?
Oh, no, it's no big deal. It's just as I travel the world, I count things, everything is numbers to me. And when I see a person's name, I count the letters, and there's consonants and vowels. And Leon has a name that has more vowels than consonants, and you'll find statistically that's very rare. And you find those people usually, bizarrely, to be softer, gentler people. I don't know if it has something to do with it. And then Andrew has all kinds of consonants, and you see what's going on over here.
Rough. Yeah, I am in rough shape.
So I'm sure there's nothing to it. It's not an astrology thing, but
I think there's something to that.
Is there anything to it?
I love it.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking, so more consonants than vowels, more gentle.
No, the other way.
The other way around.
More vowels.
More vowels.
A lot of girls have names with a lot of vowels.
I think that one of the now maybe I'm wrong, but one of the outliers would be Bruce Lee.
Oh, that's good.
But was that his real name, really?
Right.
Anyway,
stage name because of the vowels thing, probably.
Yeah, probably right. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
It was something to throw off his opponent.
Yeah, he wanted everybody to think he was gentle.
So let's do a little. I mean, the fact that you guys are together for the first time.
I feel like we have to do something.
Let's do a little something here.
I got questions, first off.
Okay, all right.
I've been traveling the world for 33 years as the human calculator. I've performed with all kinds of amazing people. Who amazes you?
Oh, wow. So many magicians. There's big name magicians, right? But so many of the world's best magicians are not famous. Don't even do it for a living. So there's this gentleman in France named Babel, and he is just a gentleman that every day goes to the Eiffel Tower, sets up a little table, and does the best sleight of hand in the world. It's almost like when Fallon takes a virtuoso and puts him in the subway, and people just walk by and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So this gentleman Babel is the best, and whenever I see him, it's pure magic. And people in Paris just walk by every day and don't even know what they're walking by.
Don't even know it.
And now, what do you think
That's amazing. I was just at the Eiffel Tower last summer. I wish I knew this.
Yeah, he's amazing. And that's all he does. He busks for a living. And if someone notices, they'll watch him for a few minutes and give him a tip and then move on with their day. And they don't even realize they've probably seen the best living sleight of hand artists in the world.
And now the next big illusion coming out is David Copperfield's going to make the moon disappear.
I heard that.
So what do you think of that? And what's your grandest illusion, if you will?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it's going to be just a huge publicity stunt, if we're actually, and this has been a buzz in the magic community. It's are we actually going to be able to walk outside and look up wherever you are in the world and see the moon? If that's the case, then this is maybe.
Well, you better not be near an ocean because things are going to get really wild.
That is true.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right. There's all these complications.
I'm going to Florida soon here.
Jim Carrey did this in a movie, I think. He moved the moon
Bruce
too
Almighty.
close, so we got to be careful. Yeah, you're right.
So it's being taken half serious and half is this just a publicity?
Yeah.
We will see, right? And
Yes.
and I think we'll either be amazed or extremely disappointed. But it's also good. It's like an old school throwback to the 80s Copperfield when he was doing major stuff. So it feels good in the magic community.
That's nothing. I can make a box of half moons disappear like that. It's really
Well, he
incredible.
did the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
He did the China, the
Yeah,
Great
the
Wall of China.
Great Wall of China,
So
yeah.
what's your grandest
He
illusion?
did Niagara Falls over the bear.
Oh, yeah, right.
My biggest thing is we have this thing called the upside down straitjacket escape with the Jaws of Death, which is a huge stunt that we're actually doing this Saturday at the Stanley.
Nice.
We're debuting it in Utica, and we've done a bunch of other things with Bill. We had a Guinness World Record.
We broke that
Which
record.
this year we're going to do it. This year we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen.
So this is the most amazing thing in the world. This was back when we were on another station, and it was outside the front of the building, and we brought up a tow truck, I think we used, and Leon would be attached by the feet upside down with a straitjacket on, and he would have to get out of the straitjacket. But you tried to break the record for doing it as many times as possible in 1 hour.
Yeah, the most consecutive time. So it was up, down, up, down, up, down, and we ended up doing 63 times.
63. Now, just for a moment, imagine, at least for me, I think about this, getting out of bed in the morning. Now, that is a task.
That is.
Just
Getting
imagine
dressed.
being upside down. Forget getting out of the, right? I mean, that was such a feat to do 63 times in 1 hour.
Incredible.
I mean, that was incredible.
Did you get a lot of PR from that?
We definitely used it.
Not
to
worldwide.
Great
because
success. We tried.
Guinness poo-pooed it because it was right at the point when they were charging people to come in and assess the record.
So
Yeah.
I've been in the Guinness Book of World Records for 23 years in a row now as the fastest human calculator. And when I got in, I went on their TV show, so I got to bypass the adjudicator. You know, like those judges coming in
They
and
had 'em
stuff
right
like
there.
that.
They were there, yeah.
They were there on stage
That's awesome.
doing it, so it was a little bit easier. So, yeah, and when you do something like that, I think you have to pay.
So that's like
Guinness
70.
Right.
Well,
tremendous
you didn't
amount
used
of money.
to. So I have the Guinness record for the still existing, the world's largest jelly donut. That still exists. That goes back to 2003. That was huge. For Elvis, we did it. Yeah. And then the world's largest dish of pasta we had in, but we lost that one. We could bring in our own weights and measurements people. But that's changed now. And they want
the money.
They want to get paid. They want to get paid to be there.
And a lot of paperwork, too. Like,
a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes, and they're very strict in the format. I've been at other world records where the judges are there, and even though they're getting paid, they're so strict.
So we've been talking to Leon about doing something this year, breaking a record this year. What have you been thinking about? What is going through your mind?
I mean, I think like the hunger is there for all of us to like vindicate that and make make it happen again. So I think it's along those lines, and just see what we can make happen.
What's
with
the
that.
record now? I mean, did anybody ever attempt that?
Yeah, there's a
there a
there's
record
an
on
on
that?
the ground record? So feet on the ground, in and out. There's not an upside down record though.
Okay.
So we'd be
So you'd be
charting new
creating that.
territory. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and weren't they saying something about the one of their complaints was they didn't see which straitjacket you were using?
Right. They wanted it. Turns out they wanted the one we were using, but then they had said something like we needed to examine it or whatever.
They needed to examine it, and you could have used another one, which could have been a, quote, trick. But it was just the exertion you went through to do that was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I spent that afternoon in the bathtub trying to recuperate.
I can only imagine.
I was down for a couple of days, but got back up.
So we're going to do something. We don't know what yet, but we're going to do something this year. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. Anyway, for you, Leon, let's talk about it.
Yep.
This is the big show.
Yes, this Saturday.
At
The
the
time has
Stanley. Come on out. Check it out.
Yep, you can go to magicrocks.com and grab your tickets. It's this Saturday, 7 p.m., completely family-friendly, the big show. So if you've seen me in town before, this is not the medium-sized show. This is the whole thing that we tour, our truck, our crew, everybody. And the excitement around the Stanley, we've been there hanging out and getting ready because we got to go to Proctor's Theater in Schenectady Friday for a show. Then we're coming back up here Saturday. The excitement's been unbelievable. So Utica, let's show up and have a great time.
All right, cool. And if I would be making a mistake if I didn't do this. Scott was able to ask you a question. You weren't able to ask Scott a question.
Well, Scott blew my mind already. He told me my exact birth date to the year was a Thursday. So now I'm definitely going to look that up. But I believe him 100%. The vowels. I mean, what is there? it's just here, right? What I do is entertainment and magic. There's a secret behind it, but what you're doing is actual mental skill, right?
Don't go insulting him. I've done it before.
No.
There's no trick to it.
When you call it, do one of those. Do one of those tricks, Scott.
I'm saying it's the opposite.
I walked in one day to the show, and he goes, "Scott, do one of your tricks." And I'm like, I don't do tricks, man. I'm working my butt off here. You know?
I'm calculating.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm open about. I'm not trying to fool anyone. Like yes, I work hard and there's a high skill level involved, but there is a trick or a sleight of hand to it. But what you're doing, right? And I don't know the answer, but what you're doing is not a trick. You're doing it.
Well, and the Guinness World Record people wouldn't let me get away with it. And just to give you an example, like my world record is counting by a number. So if I asked you to count by 5, you're just going to say 5, 10, 15, 20. Well, I can do that with any number. So if you say count by 87, I can just start counting by 87 as fast as you could count by 5.
Wow. And we're usually holding a calculator to show how
And I did this on the Guinness World Record show, and I beat the calculator, the lady running the calculator, so I got in the Guinness book. But we went to a commercial break, and the guy goes, "Hey, we got a problem. The judges think you're cheating." I was like, how am I cheating standing there counting by 38 in my
you
head?
You have a calculator off in the distance there?
Like somebody in the audience, what? And he goes, "Well, we don't think you're calculating. We think you've just memorized all this." And I said, I should still get in the Guinness Book of Records if I can memorize
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
right.
And they go, "Can you prove to us that you're not cheating, that you're not memorizing it?" So it took us a couple minutes, and we came up with it, and they made me do it. If you asked me to count by 87, I start at 0, and I start counting by 87. So I could have memorized that. But what if you pick a totally random 3-digit number and say, now start counting by 87? There's no way I could have memerized every number from every number. I did that at the same speed as from 0, and that's when they put me in the book.
You would start at 87. How about 8 times is what?
It was 696.
So if you start at 696, then you can.
Well, no, they're saying just pick a totally random number. That's a multiple.
You wouldn't want to use that because that would be in the succession of the
they
memorization.
say like 61.
Yeah, so start at 61,
like a
count by 87, 148, 235, 322, 409, 496, 583, 670. I've never done that pattern in my life, and I can tap into it instantly.
Dude.
And I was on America's Got Talent, and I was on the Howard Stern show back in 1990 or something. Howard Stern was great. He was great off air, but on air he was coming at you.
Yeah.
And he ended up being on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And when I was on the stage in the tryout phase, or second phase or whatever, they had Howard running the calculator, and he was not happy that he had to do anything.
Right, he's already
on the
mad
because he could have made a mistake.
He's giving the red X just because of that.
Yeah. So I'm doing the world record thing, and the crowd's finally getting behind me a little bit. And he goes, "So what am I going to do? Watch you count for an hour? Is that the show you're going to put in Vegas?" I said, "Well, no, Howard. There's other things. I can do other things." Right. And he goes, "I don't get it." Yeah. So, but I love the guy. Anyway. It doesn't matter.
He was very kind to me on AGT as
well. So I do want to ask. We had a guy that used to come in from Canada, and maybe you know who this is. He would come in with a briefcase, and he would have 52 decks of cards, and each one would be numbered, and you'd pull it out. And then you'd take it out of the package, and he would recite the cards that were in order. He would recite them in order.
Yep. So that's pretty easy. Those are patterns set up within the suits and the numbers. They'll usually skip 3 and alternate suits, and you'll see. Well, if you don't see 2 clubs in a row, you know something's wrong.
Okay.
So there's ways to set up decks like that.
So there's a way to set up where, and again, amazingly talented to be able to do that. No
incredible.
doubt.
Yeah, good showmanship.
But not what you're doing.
Yeah, I go to the World Championships of mental math, and there's nobody there doing any magic. There's
it's really being done.
They're crunching their numbers. We have different techniques and different ideas and strategies, but at the end of the day, nobody's doing any magic. It's pure.
There's a toolkit
thinking.
You're tapping into, but it's not. It is. You're really using those tools to calculate. It's amazing.
Right, and thank you. But you, in your show, do you use any memory or calculation?
No, because I have a horrible memory and I'm bad at numbers.
You two need to team up.
I love the honesty. That's awesome. Okay, Leon Etienne, Magic Rocks, Saturday night, Stanley Theater. Go to magicrocks.com for tickets. Yes. I'm so glad we did. This is like I'm going to tell you right now. This,
meeting of the minds.
This is a memorable moment for me on this program.
Me
this
too.
Is cool. Me as well.
Yeah, this
Love
is great.
it.
I mean, there's a few people here in the Valley that do what we do.
Yeah.
That travel around and do the stuff, and it is very unique.
It's a small club.
Yeah, to get a national and international stage is a tricky,
it is.
Somewhat lucky thing to have.
Yes, no doubt about it. And it's still the fact we should be appreciative of the fact that you guys still come home, and that's a big deal.
Well, thank you for the years of support. Without the local community behind me, dedefinitely I'm not where I am.
It all started with a bowling ball and a 5-year-old in my backyard.
That's right.
So
long story.
I'll have to hear that one.
It was my daughter. Don't get thinking anything creepy.
Everything comes back to Bill. If Bill starts everything. Bill
That's
started
right.
me.
That's
he
right.
hit me with a racquetball, and that's when I started
that's
doing
what started
math.
it. The click, it happened. The click. All right, we will see how your memory is. We'll do Hobica's free money question of the day coming up in a second. Davey, you're looking for caller number what this morning?
Caller 8.
Caller 8, and we're going with what amount?
200.
Oh, eighth caller, $200. Your chance to win. 315-736-0186. Next on WIBX.
At Destination Kia of Utica, keep your money in your wallet.
We're giving you more for 24 with no money down leases.
Like a brand new 2023 Kia Sportage Hybrid LX all-wheel drive that gets 44 miles per gallon highway for just $498 per month for 36 months.
And that's with zero down, zero do it inception, even sales tax included.
An affordable all-wheel drive SUV that crushes your gas bill. That's more for 24.
Plus, get a 50-inch smart TV included with every new or certified pre-owned Kia.
Now that's kooky.
So go kooky for Kia at Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
2023 Kia Sportage Hybrid LX all-wheel drive, stock number 23TO128, MSRP $30,790, 36 months, 30,000-mile lease, 20 cents per mile over, zero due at inception, $0 security deposit, 8.75% security deposit, and $650 acquisition fee included in payment structure, $400 disposition fee, 720 plus FICO score, TV retail value $300, EPA rating, offer expires 1/31/24.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
You know, honey, the first time you said, never let a Windows salesperson into your home, I thought you were nuts, but you were right.
Like there was really any doubt.
Seriously, so many people have told us how nice it is to shop in our beautiful showroom where there's never any high pressure.
Yep, and it's even nicer when we can help people save.
Like right now, buy 2 New York Sash windows and get 1 free.
We get slow during the winter and we need to stay busy, so you get the best deal we make all year. Buy 2 windows, get 1 free.
Buy 4, get 2 free.
Buy 6 windows, get 3 free. There's no end to the savings.
And there's no need to invite a pushy salesperson into your home. Instead, stop by the New York Sash Idea and Design Center, where you can browse at your convenience.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
These savings are only available for a limited time, so come in today. And as always,
let our family take care of your family. Shop the Red Tag January clearance sale only at Carl's Wholesale Furniture Warehouse, New Hartford Shopping Center, or mycarls.com.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax. Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors to support civil projects while earning federally tax-free income? The Erie Canal, which led to the expansion of the United States into the Midwest in the 1800s, was financed with municipal bonds. Are you looking to bridge the gap between the income of your working years and the income needed in retirement? Municipal bonds might provide the solution you're looking for. Henyon & Walsh is a leading specialist in tax-free municipal bonds and has provided investors with quality service and personal attention since 1990. Call now to receive their informative bond guide absolutely free. Dial 1-800-761-9761 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-761-9761. Henyon & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Retirement Outlook.
If your retirement account is mostly stocks or bonds, listen closely. The future of your savings may be more uncertain than ever before. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals. The sad truth is, our government continues to eat away at our freedoms and security. In economic times like these, run around the flagpole by lunatics in Washington, I look to the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver that you own. At Colonial Metals, we specialize in helping folks with IRAs and 401ks and other retirement accounts move their savings into physical gold and silver. If you'd like a free gold investment kit, give us a call today at 820-800-8000. My team is standing by ready to rush a free gold investment kit to you. You may also qualify for $7,500 in free silver and a free safe. Call 820-800-8000 now. That's 820-800-8000.
Colonial Metals is not a financial advisor. Consult with your advisor before investing.
That's 820-800-8000.
Hey, Frank, looks like business is booming. What are all those tabs you have open on your computer?
Oh, hey. Well, this one is for my SEO company. This one is for my website company. This one is for my CRM. This is for invoicing and estimates. This one does email. And this one does billing.
Geez, that sounds tricky to manage.
It's clunky, but I need all this to run my business. Wait, you run your own business, and you're even busier than I am. Don't you have all this stuff, too?
I do, but I get it all on one screen with the Town Square Business Management Platform.
What's that?
The Town Square Business Management Platform is an all-in-one tool that helps me grow and run my business. It combines website, billing, and scheduling into one program.
That sounds simpler than juggling all the tools I have now, but you still need someone else to help you find new business, right?
Nope. They have powerful digital advertising built into the platform as well, which helps me keep my calendar full. You can get a demo of the product for free. Check out their website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Town Square Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
There's no better time than the new year to help protect your identity and finances. LifeLock detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. If you do become a victim, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. Promo code CLAY to save 25%. That's lifelock.com, promo code CLAY.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Now, I got to tell you, I loved that segment with you, Scott, and Leon. The fact that, and I had no clue that you had never met him before.
No, I was in Old Forge once when his show was going on at there's a theater up there.
Yeah, the Strand.
I got to go in and see it, but it was packed. I didn't want to try to bother him or anything like that. But I'm just glad I got to meet him. It's a regular guy, talented, hardworking. And local, you know, so you got to support those guys.
The two of you, and you know there are others, but to be able to in the world that you guys live in, and it's traveling, and I realize they're two very different things. But you are two of the only ones who've been able to figure out that golden recipe. You're really showing up on those shows. You're really. Because I do a lot of, you've seen them live on Comedy Central, and and some of it's just not real. There are a few out there that are really successful, but it's very few. And you guys are among them.
Well, I'm honored, and I'll tell you, those 33 years that I was on the road as a human calculator before I started this basketball thing in Herkimer, I would be up at 5 every morning going to do local morning shows, whatever city I'm in, morning TV.
You do what you have to do.
You just do it, and all of a sudden, 5-10 years later, you look back, you're like, "Holy cow! No wonder I'm getting calls from Chicago." And these. So it pays off, but it's different, And if you're insecure, it's painful because you're like, "Wow, they just booked somebody else and they didn't think of me." And it's a little bit of a mind screw, but it's okay.
It's all of this. Radio is a very insecure business. We're just surrounded by insecurity. It's unbelievable. Which is why, as time goes on, you just get to the point where you don't even care, right?
You can't.
You got to know there are people out there that feel a certain way about you, and you just cannot care. Otherwise, it'll drive you freaking nuts.
I've watched you go through so many
stages,
versions of yourself, reinventing yourself, relocating yourself. And if you were insecure and you couldn't handle that, you'd have been a mess by now.
Oh.
You know, you cannot take that personally.
And you can't. You can take none of it personally, and you know, it is what it is.
And you guys, I don't want to bring up a sour moment here, but you guys talk about politics, and as soon as you do, 50% of the people hate you.
Right.
You know,
well,
so I stay out of that.
especially in this day and age, right now, it's really, really rough. So.
Yes,
but that's good. You know, calculating numbers has nothing to do with that. So you have every excuse to say, "I'm not even touching it." Right.
I see too many friends have it affect their life. Where I have two friends that would be great friends, but politics came up and they can't even look at each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got tons of friends that don't agree with how I think, but I don't, judge a friendship on that.
To Bill's point, like in today's day and age, like I remember back to hearing in the old times, like you don't ever talk about who you voted for. It was just a thing that nobody. It wasn't even really the topic of conversation. You
didn't know what that meant until modern times. Like
right.
The younger generation had no clue until. But
I mean, in our world and news talk and you know that stuff, it's natural. But even just everyday people now with the era of Facebook, everybody's telling you who they vote for, and it's just, can we get back to the days where that's
let me
secret?
just. I'll say this one other thing. Why politics is how difficult politics can be. It's so bad right now that if you're not talking trash about someone, then you must be on their side. And therefore, it becomes adversarial right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just that you can try to stay out of it, and you're still dragged into it by what you're not saying. That's the world we live in today.
I went to a sermon in Arizona, my girlfriend's church one time, and this minister is doing his sermon, and we ended up going to an early service instead of a late service, and I had set my alarm for like 9:15. Well, it went off right at the beginning of his sermon, and it was in my back pocket, so I thought it was somebody behind me. So I'm looking around like, who's the dummy with their phone ringing? And it was me.
It's you.
So I'm sitting next to the minister's wife, so she's like, well, I hit it to turn it off, but I didn't realize that I hit snooze, not
and it did
shut it off.
Yeah.
And so 9 minutes later, it went off again.
Oh.
But I'll never forget, because he says there's only one thing missing that would revolutionize our relationships within our society and families and friends, and that's honor. If everybody would just honor their friends, their job, like I'm trying to be better at that. I've put myself in a tough situation in Herkimer. It's challenging. We're up against a lot of people and powers that be, whatever. And it's humbling,
you've had a lot of people that have completely disagreed with you.
I'm okay with that. In my math world, there's the human calculator. My books and videos have alternative methods to getting the answer more efficiently using your mind.
Right.
I don't teach you how to do it with paper and pencil. So I'm okay with that conflict.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I was getting into with this basketball thing. I thought I could straighten out in 5 minutes.
All right, we're gonna talk more about that coming up. John is in Bridgewater, waiting patiently. Hello, John. Good morning.
Hey, Bill. Good morning.
How you
I
doing,
got
man?
3 women here, so if I lose, it's their fault.
All right. So this is
right.
we're in the midst of a free money question of the day threesome version. Okay.
How much is it, 300?
It's $200. It's $200.
200. All right.
Did you say there are 3 women or 2?
I got 3. I got Rosie here. She's 80 years old. She's been here for 100 years.
Okay, all right.
She's 80 and she's been here 100 years. That's impressive.
Hey, she's been here ever since the doors opened here, man.
Wow. All right, well, you have this is from the human calculator cupboard, if you will.
Yep.
All right, and you might be better off, I'm just going to tell you, you might be better off guessing because you have to have 7 seconds.
Just throw a guess out.
You might be better off guessing, I'm telling you. Okay, Here we go with your question. What is the only number in the English language when written out, the letters are in alphabetic order? Ready, go.
Something up, man.
Just a number.
No. Right now.
No, that's no.
S-I-X.
That was a good try.
That's a good try. Now, without the pressure, John, think about this. F-O-R-T-Y.
40.
40. The number was 40.
Oh.
Yeah. But I thought that maybe there'd be the chance you just throw out a number at random, and, I could see the number 40 coming out at random. All right, John, I'm so sorry.
They're busting my chops.
We're gonna give you the first of all the I can't find the paperwork. I know I have it here somewhere. The home show is coming up. Davey, when is that? February 3rd and 4th, right?
Yeah, next weekend at the Nexus Center.
At Nexus, we're gonna give you a 4-pack of tickets for that. We'll also give you the all-in-one food and fun. You're going to do work at your house and stuff. It's a great place to go. Also, the Utica all-in-one food and fun card is a $25 gift card. Aquavino, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill. We were at the Tailor and the Cook last night, sitting at the bar, having a little appetizer. It's wonderful there.
Nice.
At Adirondack Bank Center, concession stands and Nexus, all that. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up.
Hey, thanks. I'm going to take the women from work with me to the Turning Stone.
I like it. I like it. All right, stand by. But by the way, the home show this year is not at the Turning Stone. It's at Nexus. So be aware of that. All right, in studio, Scott Flansburgh. Scott, who just had a chance to, for the first time, meet Leon Etienne. It is interesting to watch Leon go from studio to studio down the hallway. It is kind of interesting there. All right, so you got some. So in the middle of being the human calculator, you have really become fixated on Herkimer and the origins of the game of basketball. And just a brief synopsis of that really is getting to the point where it's kind of hard to deny this.
Yeah, it's been 3.5 years, 4, the first part of this first 6 months where I was just like, what? Is this possible that this is true? Now, this kid, Lambert Will from Herkimer 1890 YMCA, is now on the ballot in Springfield for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame as a contributor to the sport. And now he's being recognized by the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. Mr. Rennie LaRue is the president. And they put Lambert Will in. The ceremony is April 21st. So I'll be doing the speech to get him in. And we're working on a documentary, and now that we're combining all of our evidence, we have more evidence for our first game in Herkimer 11 months earlier than Springfield's first game. So all kinds of things are lining up. It's been a challenge. When I started with Springfield, Bill, I got to be honest with you, they literally said, Scott, you come to Springfield, we'll give you unlimited access to our records. You go in there and find anything you can to prove that Naismith didn't invent basketball. Go ahead, literally. And in that 7 hours in a locked room with those historic documents, we found the Herkimer YMCA Review, which was a document from 1892 that shed light on Herkimer's basketball story. So,
and that's in
Springfield.
At Springfield College, while their curator was watching us go through the files. And then we came back to Herkimer and located more because we found that. So it's been, and I was at their golf tournament a couple months ago, and here's the problem now. After all this work, 3 years to get this kid on the ballot in the Hall of Fame in Springfield, come to find out that the Springfield Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame is a secret society. There's 24 people who vote. The other 23 people don't know who the other people are voting. It's completely secret. And the votes are counted by the CEO and then burned. So there's really no accountability or transparency. I won't know if he got 1 vote or 0 or 100.
They must all be Masons.
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
And it's the least transparent Hall of Fame. So when I met with them a couple months ago, I said to Jerry Colangelo, is there anything we can do to work on the transparency issue?
Yeah.
And he goes, Scott, nobody knows who votes. And we just announced the count afterwards. And it's perpetuating this myth, Bill.
And the problem is by allowing him in, it upends years and years of purported history.
133 years next week.
Yeah.
Our first game in Herkimer was Feb 7, 1891.
I do think that adding to the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame does add some credence. That's a big deal.
The press release went out last week, and the announcement from Springfield for the finalists this year is coming out on February 16th at the NBA All-Star Game. And then the winners will be announced April 6th at the March Madness Final Four. So we're hoping, but the ceremony is April 21st in Troy for the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. And we're just doing everything we can, you guys, to keep moving this thing forward.
Yeah.
And the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame was the next logical step.
So you said that first game played in Herkimer was what date?
Feb 7, 1891.
And what day was that?
Oh, that's a good question. I never asked. It had to be a Saturday because, well, let me make sure. +2, Feb 7. Oh, it was a Saturday. Yeah. So
there you go.
18 what? 18 what?
91.
Oh yeah, Saturday.
Of course, it was a Saturday. You remember, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
And
I had to you know how long it would take me back to scroll back on my computer calendar here?
If you remember, the old phone books used to have perpetual calendars, and you had to flip through the pages and stuff.
Right.
And so next week we're hosting a game at Herkimer College next Saturday, and it's our Lambert Will game. The Lambert Will family will be there. We're going to do a big celebration
Is
at
that
halftime.
this Saturday or next?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
This
okay.
Saturday we're playing the number 6 team in the country.
Okay.
Binghamton's coming in. We're going to have a game here in Utica Saturday. We'll start selling tickets later today. We just had to finalize a venue change, and so I don't want to mess that up this morning. But there's a game this Saturday and 2 games next weekend.
So playing in the ABA, the American Basketball Association.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
And it's the Herkimer 9. It's a team out of Herkimer, basically out of Herkimer and Utica. But obviously, Herkimer is important to the history of all of
Well, and
of all
Alice
of
Cooper
this.
came up with our name of our team, the originals, and he came up with the logo, OGs, with the O looking like a rim and a net. So it's been a fun story, but we got to get across the finish line. And New York State's great, but if we get that Springfield, they're going to have to answer who is this guy. And I think that's when it'll be a tipping point.
At the very least, using baskets that were around to hold peaches, right?
Not true. Naismith's story includes
'Cause I would
peach
think-
baskets, but the real story in Herkimer,
would be apples
it was
in Herkimer.
bushel baskets.
Bushel
just a little bit
baskets.
different.
Okay.
And a little bit wider on the top. So, but just a little nuances.
Interesting.
Of the story, and that he was sorting cabbage for his mother when he invented basketball. He had two bushel baskets. He had to throw soft ones here, hard ones here, and he was just messing around. And that went from there.
Said one of the players, every time I dunk, the odor is killing me.
Cabbage is rough.
Cabbage. So, but I want to say, though, when you think about this for just a moment, go back to
1890 was when it was really invented. Then 91 was the first game.
So go back to that time. Can you imagine creating a game? You're creating a game.
Yeah.
That is then going to become popular, and you add rules, and you add tradition, and as it builds into the 1900s, it begins to grow tremendously.
Yes.
And then colleges begin to pick it up, and all of a
now
sudden,
it's like one of the biggest money-making.
It is where it is today. I mean, it isn't just brilliance. It's brilliance. It's coincidence. It's luck of the draw. I mean, there's just so much to be able. When you just think about that, imagine if you were to invent a game today. Chances are, it goes nowhere.
It's hard. It's harder. It seems like, but at the same time, it's easier because it's easier to get out.
Right.
And there are sports that are invented all the time. They got new basketball games. Versions of basketball that look like soccer, but you can throw the ball. All kinds of stuff is out there. But the basketball is one of the top 5 sports in the world, and that was invented in Herkimer. I just look at Cooperstown, and I think 130 years ago, if Herkimer got recognized as the birthplace of basketball and Cooperstown is the birthplace of baseball, that 28 miles between those two,
it would be awesome
for families,
It
for
would be.
tourists, for sports fans.
Listen, I don't want to downplay the invention of the game of baseball, and we're going to talk with the Hall of Fame coming up in a few minutes. Baseball Hall of Fame. But there's just something about taking a stick and hitting something where it just seems so primitive, so just something that humans would do at some point.
Yep.
But taking a ball and throwing it up into a basket that is on a pole, that took some real creativity. And then to have that thing turn into what it is today is really something special.
When it started, there was no backboard. There was a basket, then they put it on a stick when it wasn't on a wall. So you had to
have some real skill.
Seriously, just a stick sitting in the middle of a field.
No layups.
And the first backboard was in Mohawk, New York, at the YMCA.
Really?
If you drive by that little YMCA there, that was the first backboard
Get out of
ever.
here. Wow. My great-great-grandfather invented the game Pig.
The basketball game Pig?
Yeah.
So who invented horse? Did somebody just steal
Well, he
that
stole
from
it from.
Stole
He stole it from. Got a break. It's 8:00. WIBX Utica Rome.
First you want Iowa, then New Hampshire. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's at a Trump victory rally.
We have no choice. If we don't win, I think our country is finished. I do.
The former president won the primary, beating Nikki Haley by about 11 points in New Hampshire, but she called it a great night.
This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go.
That prompted this Trump response.
Who the was the imposter that went up on the stage before and claimed a victory? She did very poorly, actually.
But Haley says it's on to her home state, South Carolina, next month from today.
With Donald Trump, you have one bout of chaos after another. This court case, that controversy, this tweet, that senior moment.
She again called for a mental competency test, again challenging the former president to a debate. Now, there was also a Democratic primary that didn't count because the party wants South Carolina first next month. So President Biden wasn't even on the ballot last night, but he won New Hampshire's primary anyway, with more than 60% of voters writing the Biden name in, while he held a rally for abortion rights in Virginia.
Let there be no mistake. The person most responsible for taking away this freedom in America is Donald Trump.
Russia is now claiming a military transport plane that crashed near the Ukraine border was shot down by Ukraine. Officials say there are no survivors, and Russia says 65 of the 74 people killed were Ukrainian prisoners of war. The U.S. went on the attack twice in the Middle East, first hitting Iran-backed militants in Iraq who've been attacking and targeting American forces over and over. Then in Yemen, targeting rebels who've been attacking ships.
U.S. Central Command saying this, quote, U.S. forces identified the missiles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen and determined that they presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and the U.S. Navy ships in the region. U.S. forces subsequently struck and destroyed the missiles in self-defense.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
518-554-0000. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 8:03. I'm Andrew Derminio. We're at 34 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Home and Hospital Medical Supplies and Service, carrying a wide selection of home medical equipment. Call them at 315-724-6767. Online, it's HandHMedicalNY.com. 4 people are continuing to recover after being injured in a crash in Oneida County. Authorities say a man was traveling on Oswego Road in Rome yesterday when a deer went in front of his car. That caused the driver to swerve, triggering a spin that led to the vehicle going off the road and hitting a tree before catching fire. The driver was able to get himself and his 3 passengers out of the burning vehicle. Everyone involved in the accident is expected to survive. Centro is going to be holding a nationwide search as the organization tries to find a brand new CEO. Brian Schultz has left the position he held since 2020 due to medical reasons. As part of his separation agreement, Schultz will get a lump sum payment over $51,000 and more than $45,000 for untaken paid time off. Centro says Schultz had been on leave since October and that Deputy CEO Christopher Tuff will keep leading the organization on an interim basis. The CNY SPCA is hoping to help find animals their forever homes during an event that is taking place this weekend. The Get Your Pet On adoption event is happening on Saturday. and will give folks the chance to meet and visit with dogs, cats, guinea pigs, and hamsters at the facility. The event runs from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the shelter located on East Malloy Road. For more information, head to cnyspca.org. A bill has been introduced in the state legislature that calls for health insurance to cover co-payments for Paxlovid. The drug is used to help people who contract COVID-19 recover quicker, but co-payments for the medication can run as high as $140. The federal government previously covered the cost, but no longer does so. Paxlovid has been proven to reduce the risk of death from coronavirus by 73%. If approved, this measure would go into effect next year. And lip balm flavors inspired by a basket of chicken wings have already sold out. Burt's Bee announced that it teamed up with Hidden Valley Ranch to create a line of lip balms that features flavors of buffalo sauce, crunchy celery, fresh carrot, and Hidden Valley Ranch.
Wouldn't the buffalo sauce actually make your lips more chapped?
Yeah, make them burn.
Yeah.
Some people like that feeling. They like that taste.
I love it when my lips are burning.
The collaboration actually began after an April Fool's post back in 2022 of ranch-flavored lip balm, but the limited edition pack of lip balms was launched on Wednesday and, again, has already sold out. WIBX 950 news time is 8:06. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by the new Destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, leftover rain showers and drizzle, light sleet, freezing rain early, mainly higher elevations to the north and northeast. Milder afternoon with rain redeveloping by sunset, a high of 41. Tonight, relatively mild for late January with occasional light rain, a low near 35. For more on your local forecast, tune Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Right now, we're at 33 degrees with some light precipitation. Cloudy skies. It is 8:07. Sports brought to you by IBEW 43 Local. We do want to let you know that Syracuse basketball, well, they tried to extend their winning streak.
They played with Florida State. Did you see the game? They played with Florida State all game long. I turned away, got in my car, drove home, figured I'm going to miss a really great game.
Yeah. And then the wheels fell off.
And the wheels fell off. They got crushed.
Yep.
What happened?
They were unable to extend their winning streak to 3 games after falling to Florida State 85-69 when it was all said and done. The Orange dropped to 13-6 and will host NC State on Saturday night. The Raiders are closing in on hiring their new general manager. ESPN reports Vegas is working to hire former LA Chargers general manager Tom Telesco as their new GM. The 51-year-old served as the Chargers GM since 2013 and was responsible for drafting Pro Bowlers such as Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Joey Bosa. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks have found their next head coach. ESPN reports the team has reached out to Doc Rivers and is currently in conversations with him to become the franchise's next coach. Rivers is currently an NBA analyst on the Four Letter Network and most recently coached the Philadelphia 76ers. He was let go in the offseason after leading Philly to 3 consecutive Eastern Conference semifinals appearances. Milwaukee fired first-year head coach Adrian Griffin Tuesday with a winning record after coaching only 43 games. Joe Prunty has taken over the team as interim head coach. And, of course, the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown have announced their big inductees, but I'm not going to take all the thunder because on the line right now we have Craig Muter.
Let's go to it right now. Craig Muter with the National Baseball Hall of Fame right now. Craig, good morning.
Bill, how you doing?
Great to hear from you, and I always know when I'm talking to you, spring is just around the corner. So,
right. No matter what the weatherman says, I guarantee you it's baseball season.
That's exactly right. Pitchers and catchers, right? They should be reporting any time now.
Valentine's Day. I think most teams start their pitchers reporting around Valentine's Day. So we literally are 2 weeks away.
Love it. All right. Well, your take on the announcement yesterday of those who will be inducted this year.
3 incredible guys: Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, Todd Helton. You will not find 3 guys who love the game more, have more of a passion about the game, and are so respected throughout the game. It's really impressive. And when you compare that with Jim Leland, another guy who was elected by the Air Committee in December, another guy who just everybody loves. We're going to have a really big turnout, I think, of major leaguers and former major leaguers coming to see the induction this year because they want to celebrate.
You know, and this seems to be a clean as a whistle induction.
I don't think any of these, if you're talking about, performance enhancing drugs, I don't think any of these guys were anywhere near any of that. No one ever felt that. The worst thing they ever said about Todd Helton was, well, he plays in Colorado and the air's thin up there, so it's easier to hit.
Yeah.
But if you look at Todd Helton's road stats, just his road stats, they're compared with other Hall of Famers full stats, and that's just on the road.
Yeah.
Todd Helton was a Hall of Famer away from Coors Field, and at Coors Field, he was just legendary.
Yeah. So that'll be great. And of course, induction day is July
16th?
July 21st,
21.
Sunday, July 21st in Cooperstown. And as you know, it's a special day where that's where the eyes of the baseball world are on Cooperstown. And if you haven't been a part of it, it's a special time. We're expecting a very, very nice crowd with, fans from Texas who just won the World Series for Adrian Beltre, and, of course, Minnesota and Colorado, where Joe Mauer and Todd Helton played their entire careers, respectively.
Yep.
So you're going to have some fans there. But it really is. If you haven't seen it, this is something that's in our backyard that is just truly a national and international treasure.
And in this day and age, how many guys get to play their entire season with one team, their entire career with one team?
Yeah, not many. In fact, this is the first time that two guys who played on only one team have gone in together since Tony Gwynn and Cal Ripken Jr. in 2007. And you may remember that year. That was 82,000 fans in Cooperstown, the biggest ever. So I'm not sure we're looking at that, but I'm very certain we're going to see a lot of fans in Cooperstown this summer.
All right, great stuff. Craig Muter, as always, we appreciate it and look forward to baseball. This, by the way, I don't know if you know, but it's, as a Mets fan, this is our year.
I seem to remember us having this conversation about 364 days ago.
Yes, we did.
I'll put it down again, and I'll mark it down.
And it was right after I had to eat my words about the Buffalo Bills. So deja vu all over again. Craig, I want to put you on with Scott Flansburgh. He is the human calculator. Boy, could he do something with the numbers of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I lived it. Hi, Craig. First off, congratulations on getting Josh Rawitch from Phoenix and having him locate from Arizona to Cooperstown to run the Baseball Hall of Fame. It must be great having him there. Were you there when they transitioned with the transparency issues with the voting for the Hall of Fame? Do you remember when it was less transparent? And what was that like as it got better? And what's the reaction from the fans, from the players, and the families that are hoping that their guys get in?
So there are two ways in, Scott. The first way is from the writers, and the writers, they don't have to reveal their ballot. And the Hall of Fame feels strongly about that in that a secret ballot is something that we have in this country, and it promotes, voting your conscience. However, especially with the advent of the Internet, many, many writers now reveal their ballots. And, in fact, you may see the tracker that a gentleman named Ryan Thibodeau runs, where he looks for ballots that are revealed through the Internet or through newspapers, and then he tracks them. And so it gives you an idea of who's going to be elected based on what the trend is.
Yeah.
So we now know a lot more about who's voting for whom. But the board, our board of directors still feels strongly that, hey, if you don't want to do that, that's something that is really ingrained in this country, is having a secret ballot. Now, the other way in is through the Eras Committee. And that's a committee that is of 16 people, and it's different committees. There's 3 different ones of them. But they vote every third year on different eras and different candidates. So, for example, Jim Leland was elected by the committee that considers managers, umpires, and executives from 1980 forward. Now, those votes are not revealed. And the reason for that is because with only 16 people and you need 75% to get in, so you need 12. That really puts a lot of pressure on those voters.
Yeah.
Obviously, people want to get into the Hall of Fame. So we feel strongly about that as well.
Good to know. Thank you, Craig, because we're dealing with Springfield, and they have
With
no
basketball,
transparency
yeah.
in basketball. It's a secret society. Nobody knows who votes or how they voted, and so it's a little frustrating trying to get somebody in there.
And, I think a lot of the writers, they do want to reveal it, and they do want to say, hey, this is how we voted. But we want to give people that right to say, hey, I don't want to reveal my ballot.
Yep.
I think it's important. And like I said, you're talking about probably close to 3/4 of the voters now are revealing their ballot through some kind of media.
Great.
Do we, one final question, Craig. Did we ever find out the one vote against Derek Jeter?
I know what you're referring to, Mr. Jeter, and no, I do not believe that has ever surfaced who that is.
You got to wonder, though, right? You got to wonder.
I want to know.
Yeah.
So, Bill, if I had to guess, my guess would be that whoever did that did it because they want you can only vote for 10 people on your ballot. They probably thought, hey, I know Derek Jeter's going to get in, but instead I want to vote for somebody else who may not stay on the ballot with 5%. You have to get 5% to stay on. And they use it in that way. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. That's for bigger minds than mine.
But at least you can
understand. I don't think anybody out there would say that Jeter is not a Hall of Famer.
At least that gives theory gives some understanding of how it could happen.
It was a Red Sox fan, let's be honest.
Yes.
That's possible.
Probably one of those Boston writers.
That's possible, too.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, Craig, great stuff. We love having you on. Thank you so much, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
All
right,
you
Craig.
do the same. Craig Muter with the National Baseball Hall of Fame. We are so lucky to have all this stuff right in our own backyard, right?
And notice the name of the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown is the National Baseball Hall of Fame. In Springfield, the Basketball Hall of Fame is called the Naismith Memorial Basketball. It's the only Hall of Fame with a man's name.
It's almost like they had to reinforce it just to,
Keep saying the lie over and over again.
You gave us a question. You gave us a question for a free money question, and every once in a while when people give us a question, there's an error.
Was there more than one?
Big Honey has said from Hecla, New York.
Let's hear it.
Has said there is another. Andrew has the story right now. Is it possible John and Bridgewater really won? Well, no, because he didn't give a number.
No, he didn't
He
give
said
a No, he
six.
said 6.
He said 6.
Close to 6 is 8.
EIG. No.
No, G comes before I.
Yeah, man.
I let him know. I was gonna let him know humbly and without anybody else knowing, but
Yeah, I would.
Oh, you were? I'm sorry.
I would have caught that.
What I'm going to say is Big Honey was actually seeing how long we debate it before we actually figured the whole thing out. All right, I got a break. Coming up, he says he wants to run against Senator Griffo, and he has a lot of facts. I say they're his facts, not facts. We'll talk to him coming up. Will Fiacco. Also, Andrew Reed, legal expert. Each week, we take 3 topics. Love having this guy on. And Ryan Nobles with NBC coming up at WIBX.
At Destination Kia of Utica, get more for $24.
That's right. Buy a new or certified pre-owned Kia and go home with a 50-inch smart TV in your trunk.
I think we should call it Trunkovision.
Yeah, maybe not.
Bummer.
And don't forget, Kia has an industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty.
And we have a giant selection of all-wheel drives.
Whether it's our rugged SUVs, like the 2024 Kia Seltos or the 2024 Kia Telluride.
Or all-wheel drive hybrids, like the 2023 Kia Sportage Hybrid that gets 44 miles per gallon highway.
With over 250 new Kias, we've got the Kia for you.
It's Trunkovision. Drive home with your new Kia and a snazzy 50-inch TV. Now that's kooky.
So go kooky for Kia at Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
Prior orders excluded. EPE ratings. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. TV retail value $300. Offer expires 1/31/24.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants to help transform your home in the new year. Their pieces have timeless design and incredible craftsmanship. Their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For over 45 years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces to top designers, they have everything you need for any space. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just looking for some pieces to pull the look together, like quality lamps, rugs, and pictures, Adirondack Home Furniture is the place to shop. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and transform your home for the new year. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Are you or a loved one dealing with physical issues? Are you about to have a corrective surgery? Be prepared and take the stress out of recovery. Visit Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center. From mobility aids to home safety equipment, they carry it all. Whether it's a heating pad for back relief or a knee brace for that sports injury, they now even have light therapy equipment to fight seasonal depression. Home and Hospital Medical Supply. Care with convenience. Online at hnhmedicalny.com.
Are your brakes noisy? Do your brakes vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? When your brakes need service, find out why our customers have voted Oriskany Garage the best auto repair shop in the Utica area, where we promise to never try to sell you something that you don't need. For brakes, tires, funny noises, warning lights, or any of your auto repair needs, come and experience award-winning service at Oriskany Garage down the street from Utica University, or online at ogtire.com. Come on and say it with me and make the noise. ogtire.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 518-554-0000. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $59,000. Nurses work a 35-hour work week, conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. And the civil service exam fee is waived for 2024. Apply today at OneidaCountyJobs.com.
Shop the Red Tag January clearance sale only at Carl's Wholesale Furniture Warehouse, New Hartford Shopping Center, or mycarls.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code NAKED and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code NAKED. LumeDeodorant.com, code NAKED for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code NAKED.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new family doctor, or you're having issues with sleep, fatigue, pain, ADHD, any issues, or maybe your doctor has retired, or here's another option, you've just decided to move on from your doctor. It's the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Several physicians, all under one roof. Everything from counseling, addiction issues, to acupuncture, and of course, family physician. Dr. Chmielewski was an ER doctor for several years. Call today. They're accepting new patients. 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All righty now. In studio right now is Will Fiacco. Will is prepping for a run against Senator Joe Griffo. And Will, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, for those that don't recall, we have had you on once before. Right. Give people a little background on who you are.
Well, I'm a former Democrat, switched Republican. I live in the town of Lee. I have a business and background in insurance and banking, and I have a desire to change the way that New York State is going, so that's why I'm going into politics.
Okay. All right. I did notice that you'd sent me something that was it a Facebook post or something?
Yes.
Where you're being warned that you're walking into the lion's den. Or
Who's warning you that?
Was it a lion's den or a cougar
quite a few
den?
people, actually.
These people.
You can't listen to them.
Well, the last the time that we were on here, it kind of got a little heated.
Well, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm good right up until things that are said are not true, and then I feel like I am compelled to be able to make a correction if needed. That's all.
Oh, that's fine, and I want this to go more civilly today.
Okay, all right. Well, the issue the last time was you said there are no jobs, and I think that where there's, you tell me. There are no jobs, people are leaving in droves, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, well, that is not true. But we're talking about two different things. Talking about Oneida County, talking about the Mohawk Valley region versus New York State. Those are two very different things.
They're connected, though. Anything that happens in Albany affects, of course, the whole state and affects the Mohawk Valley.
And there's no doubt. However, if you say there are no jobs, I have to contest that because we have a low unemployment rate here. Now, I don't know what the state unemployment rate is. I imagine it's also low. But we're down right around 3%, maybe even a little lower than that right now.
It just went to 4.5% is what I heard on the news this morning.
Oh, okay.
Some areas. I don't know what the state level is.
In Oneida County?
I think that was in Onondaga County. Actually.
Oh, okay. All right. Again, if you look at the list of job openings right now, good jobs, high-paying jobs, construction jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have so many jobs available right now.
Well, I don't agree because I have a friend who works construction, and he actually works in Syracuse. He lives in Rome, and he's making only $1 more than minimum wage. And he's having to drive over to Syracuse every day.
Well, I don't know him. He could be an idiot. I'm not worth any more than that. I don't know.
Well, I don't believe that he is.
My point is, that's anecdotal. You can't use an anecdotal. Like, I have a friend who isn't working right now. He sits home and he smokes pot. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
So you
have
want
a
to talk
friend.
about...
I have statistics, real statistics that exist that are real. I know you keep giving me stuff from the Albany Times-Union about New York State. I don't know what you have there, but what you previously sent me, it's about New York State, not about here. And remember, you're running for a Senate district that is here, and that is why I feel that's important.
So I believe this is the from the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the United States Department of Labor for New York. The unemployment rate is at 3.7%. Total unemployed people, 6.3 million as of December of 2023, and the unemployment insurance claims are at 2.4 million as of January 13th of this year.
And what is very interesting about that is it's so different than it used to be. It used to be when people were unemployed, there were no job openings. Now, today, all we do on the radio is it seems like every other commercial, I'm exaggerating, is about helping companies try to bring employees in because they can't find the workers. Somewhere along the line, we've got to bring people here. Maybe our current population is not going to be able to fill these jobs.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems that we see in business is the low wages. A lot of people are just not going back to work because the wages are just too low. When somebody's only making, minimum wage is now up to $15 an hour. When somebody's making only $20 an hour for a professional job, it's just not worth it. Nobody's getting ahead. So we have the low wages in the area compounded with the fact that most of our labor in this area is blue-collar and unskilled labor.
Well, that's also not true. You're just speaking anecdotally.
Now, that is true because people.
And here's the other part of this. What should the wage be? What should our minimum wage be?
Probably about $11.50 an hour.
Okay,
I believe.
Well, how are you going to get to 20? You say he's not. If you're working,
well, if we drop the minimum wage, then that will help businesses, especially small businesses, to hire more people.
Okay.
And that's going to put more money in their pocket as well because the increase and costs are so high. You go out to breakfast or dinner anymore, it's $20 for a person. That needs to come down because people are just not making enough money. So it's all economic. It's all connected. If we get the minimum wage down, then we can lower the cost of services and products throughout the area in the state. Is where I'm going with that.
I feel bad though because you're telling me you can't make a living at $20 an hour, which I would agree with that.
You can buy a house at $20 an hour. I'll tell you, the housing in the state of New York, especially in this area, is up to $200,000 for a basic home. And somebody making $40,000 a year cannot afford that.
We are so lucky here. I'd like to introduce you to Scott Flansburgh, who's a numbers guy. How are the prices in Phoenix for housing?
Pretty consistent, actually. Phoenix, the high-end places didn't really lose any value, and they actually started tracking back up. And average home there is pretty expensive, but if you're looking for a cheap place, Herkimer, we're ready to go. We got
Herkimer's ready.
We got a lot of nice houses that are low priced.
Yeah.
And we're building a better community there.
No, Phoenix, Arizona? Or
Yes.
Phoenix? Okay.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
That's where I lived for 30 years.
Phoenix, New York. Is that on the lake?
Yeah.
Alice Cooper lives there, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, half the year.
Phoenix, New York.
So this is actually from Lanson Lee, who likes to chime in quite a bit. Will you ask your guest, will he ride Marianne Buttonshawn's coattails like Mr. Griffo does? Because without her, this area would get nothing done other than a senator that likes to write letters to the governor.
All right, Lance and Lee, you're way off base on that, but go ahead.
Yeah,
How would you respond?
I agree, for the record. I'm just reading the comment.
Yeah.
Let's see, how do I answer that? Well, no, I will not be riding anybody's coattails, that's for sure. I'm an independent thinker. I think for myself. I make my own decisions. I have switched over to the Republican Party because I feel like that they are more interested in bringing the state back to common sense policies. The supermajority in Albany of Democrats, to me, is just destroying the whole state. We've got gender ideology in the schools. We've got...
Not true.
We do. It is true.
Oh, come on! Don't give me that BS.
Come on now.
What do you watch? Where do you get this information of
I get
ridiculousness?
I get it from the constituents.
The people. You're listening to morons,
I'm listening
man.
to constituents. They are not morons.
They're morons. No, those constituents are morons. I'm
No,
sorry.
they're not.
No, they're idiots.
I disagree.
I'm sorry.
I don't.
I know you do. I know you do. But don't disagree too much. It'll make you one too.
Which politicians do you resonate towards that are currently
That's a good
out
question.
That are currently in office in New York.
Yeah.
Rob Ort, Senator Rob Ort, over in North Tonawanda, I think
don't know
it is,
who he is.
a Buffalo area. Mary Beth Walsh, who is in the Albany area, are two people that I respect.
Who scares you?
Who scares me? The Working Families Party scares me.
Mm-hmm. Who do you support nationally?
Nationally, as far as
we have a big election coming.
Well, Trump is who I'm going to be voting for.
Okay.
I would hope that he would pick up DeSantis as his VP. That's my hope.
Okay.
I think DeSantis would make a good vice president.
You don't like Nikki Haley?
2028. Nikki Haley, I do believe she is just not a true Republican.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. The gender thing. I just want to go back to that for a second. There is a difference between accepting other people who might be different and gender. What do you call it? It's gender
ideology.
Ideologies. And we're teaching kids to be something other than what they were naturally born.
Right.
BS. Garbage. Not true. That's just not true. Could I teach you to be a girl? I want to teach you right now. Take off your suit and put on a dress. Would you do that? Would you begin acting like a female? Think of all these kids. You're born to feel the way you are. There's no way someone's going to turn me into as you would say, a cat or a girl. It's just not going to happen. But if you're born a certain way and you identify, what should we do with those 7-year-olds? What should we do with a 13-year-old? What should we as a community do to those kids?
Well, the first thing you got to find out is where they're getting this information.
No. I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you, that's bull crap. Let me tell you something. I know more families. Think of all the families, and this is also anecdotal. Think of the number of families where you have 3 kids. the boy who plays baseball, the girl who loves dolls, and then there's the third one. Same two parents. Who taught that kid to be that way? Who taught that girl to be a lesbian or that boy to be gay? Who conditioned and groomed that person to be that way? Was it a teacher? Was it a parent? Was it the grandmother who got a hold of the kid during babysitting? Or is it possible that kid was just born that way?
Well, the way I'm understanding it is from the teacher's perspective is that they're getting this information off of social media. They're getting told, these kids are getting told, yeah, you can change your gender if you want to. So the teachers are
Oh, my God almighty. My wife's a teacher. You are so full of it. It is unbelievable.
Now, let's be
that
civil.
you would, I am being
Come on.
civil.
No, come on.
Do you know the difference between civil and not civil?
Yeah,
you don't want to see
you don't
not
get into
civil.
personal insults.
No, it is ridiculous, though, what you're saying.
That's fine, but I don't agree with that because I see it all the time. And why do we have the state legislator putting laws? They have a bill on the
Which state legislator?
The state Senate has put a bill, and I think it's about a year and a half old. It hasn't passed. It's in committee right now, that says that parents don't have to be notified if their kids want to change their gender. When did the teachers become parents?
Do you know?
Co-parents
Do you
with
know
the
of
parents?
any case where a kid has changed their gender?
I don't know of any particular ones myself
You
in
don't?
the city of Rome or Utica.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at the
So
way
you're
the
saying
law
that
is.
so a student can go and say, I want to change my gender, and then what happens?
Well, it seems to me that what ends up happening is they go to the school counselor, or the school counselor then refers them over to medical facilities.
And then it's done.
And then, but the whole thing is, this is not the job of the teachers. This is not the job of the schools.
Nor
they
is
should
it-
not be getting involved in gender
But
ideology at
they're-
all. They need to stick with math, English, science, and history, and nothing else. They don't need to get into social media or social events like that.
Do you know of a teacher that is involved?
I don't know any teachers that are specifically involved in
Well, but there must be.
I'm looking at the law.
But there must be teachers involved. You just
Well,
don't
there
know
are in
them.
other states. I have seen cases in other
You've
states.
seen the teachers who are
But what New York is doing
grooming these children to be.
It's grooming.
Yeah.
I agree.
But you just don't have any specifics.
I don't have any specifics in this area, no, but I do have specifics in other parts of the country.
What are those
Not on me.
specifics?
No,
What are
I
those?
don't.
You don't have them on you.
No, because we came here to discuss something else, so I didn't bring.
Well,
up
this
gender
is
ideology.
stuff that we talked about before, right? So in the cat pan, is the other thing. I just wanted to, because we talked to schools locally because I figured, and at some point, you keep hearing the story that schools are allowing kids to identify as a cat, and then the schools are bringing in cat pans for those kids that need to pee and poop.
I
But
did
not
hear
in a
that
toilet.
rumor.
But
I
not
did
in
hear
a
that,
toilet. Not in a toilet. They would use a cat pan.
I've been to a school that had a cat. I've been to one school as the human calculator, and they did have that set up in a bathroom. So
In New York
I
State?
didn't believe it was in New York.
Where in New York was that?
I'm not going to say. It was.
In my district?
I'm not going to say it's here, and it was,
I can only tell you.
There's your evidence, Bill.
There is okay.
Anecdotal.
There is zero evidence. I want a picture of that.
Okay.
I'd like to see that too.
Send
Not
me a
necessarily,
picture.
but I think I will.
Yeah. Ask him for a picture.
Yes.
And actually, let us know what school so we can dig in.
Privately,
I would love to talk to that superintendent. So, but at the end of the day, there is, despite Scott saying he's got one, we know of zero places in this area where this is happening.
Right, but I am not looking at particular incidents. I'm looking at the law. As a state senator, it's going to be my job to draft laws. So I need to make sure that the laws are conducive to what the people want. And when I see a gender ideology law being put out from Albany that dismisses the parents' objectives to the use of pronouns or other aspects that go along with that, I get concerned. Children should not be indoctrinated this way. We should not be focused on this. This is a parent's job.
So if a 15, so we did speak with the superintendent, Kaz Tangora, and did you? So you heard, he was on.
I
You
did
heard
watch
what he
that,
said.
yes.
And you know that this is, by the way, not his opinion. It is New York State law.
It is not law. He is mistaken.
Okay. All right.
I looked it up. There's no such law
Okay.
that requires him
Well,
to
it's-
not notify the parents. That is an absolute
It
lie.
is. Well,
Or he is mistaken.
I'll let the two of you work that
All
out.
right.
We're only going by what he said. So, but at the same time, if a kid is 14, 15 years old, and a kid discloses to a teacher, I'm going to tell you something, but I don't want this to be shared with anyone. I'm gay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want anyone to know because my dad is very much against this and it'll be bad for me at home. I can't tell them, but I'm telling you, what you want the schools to do is immediately report back to the parents.
Now, you're talking about somebody declaring their sexuality at an age of 14 or 15. I'm talking about gender ideology and gender changes being
But a kid
put
can't.
on a
A
child.
kid cannot just go and cut off without a long process through a physician. It would not be done through a school counselor.
No, but it is done in other states. I have seen it done, and it concerns me.
That isn't done in other states. School counselors don't perform surgery.
Getting the information from somebody, they're not getting it from their parents. Where else will they be getting it? They're getting it from social media, and the schools are encouraging it. And when schools pass laws that say that you cannot notify the parents of what's going on, that's a red flag to any parent. You do not want your teachers having secrets with those children. That is an open door for pedophilia, and that is very dangerous.
So the parent should, the teacher should, even though the student said, please don't reveal this to my parents.
He is a minor. If a 14-year-old goes up to his teacher and says, I'm suicidal, don't tell anybody.
Well, that's a
his
different
job.
story.
No, it isn't.
It
It's
is
the
a
same
different
thing.
story. No.
Parents need to be involved in their
All right.
children's lives.
So can you imagine if students now know their teacher is going to disclose their sexuality? Let's forget about the gender, whatever. Do you think the kids are going to go to they're not going to have anyone to talk to?
It's going to be difficult for a teenager at that point. I think that it has to be handled delicately. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say out the child and condemn the child for his feelings.
Just report it to the parents.
But the parents need to be aware of what's
Okay.
going on,
All right.
is all I'm saying.
All right. What else is on your agenda today? Because I see you have paperwork there.
Well, the paperwork, when we talked about the jobs in New York, and one of the things that I wanted to emphasize was it isn't that we don't have good retail jobs, and we have plenty of entry-level jobs. We just don't have any careers being built in the area. And that's because we don't have the base industries that we used to have.
That is not true.
Well, MetLife, for example, used to have a big office down at, I forget, over in New Hartford, and that's closed. And so are some of the other insurance companies that used to be in the area. So anybody who wants to do anything other than retail or construction or blue collar, like myself, I'm a white collar person, those jobs are hard to find. They just closed the community bank in Rome, a bank that I go to, a branch, and there's your degreed people, bank manager, bank representatives, they're out of a job.
Yeah. So what's going on at Marcy? What's going on at Griffiths? These are all, in many cases, very well-paying jobs. And oftentimes require or don't require an education. Could be an engineering job. If you look at the number of engineering jobs in the area, it's not just at Griffiths, it's not just at Marcy, but there are places all over. The Fountainhead, always looking for people. There are so many high-end jobs that are available here today. The problem we most likely have is we don't have the people to fill those jobs right now.
I think we have the people to fill the jobs. I think a lot of people have just decided that it's not worth going back to work if they're not going to make good money. I know a lot of people, and I don't agree with them, that have chosen not to work because it's easier to go on welfare.
Okay.
And there are those people, and that is a problem in the state of New York, especially in Rome. And that's something I'd like to see changed. Now, going back to Griffiths Park has a lot of potential to become a really great business park. It only housed about 6,000 jobs currently, and it has the potential to hold 35,000 jobs on that base, and it just has not been expanded. When the base closed in, 90, 91, 92...
It's one of the most successful base closure stories in the country.
Well, it may be a base closure story, but it's not a successful business park.
No,
it
is a.
I don't consider 6,000 jobs to
Okay.
be when there's 35,000 potential jobs that can be built there.
So you feel there aren't enough jobs
Exactly,
there. Okay.
exactly. So what we need to do, and when I say base industries, I'm talking about major corporations, Fortune 500 corporations like MetLife and like Bank of America, et cetera, coming into the area and opening up call centers, opening up processing centers, opening up.
Do you see a call center being a high-end job?
Well, it's better than $15 an hour in most cases, in some companies. Though, again, wages is the problem. Corporations just aren't paying their employees right, and that's going to be a challenge to try to get them to give their employees raises.
Right, because how do you, as a state senator,
that's going to be
how
hard.
do you demand that they?
We just have to. I don't know exactly how.
Because you don't want the minimum wage to go too high, right?
No.
But at the same time, you want to make sure that these companies are paying. How do you accomplish that?
I think lowering the business taxes is a big part of it. New York State has some of the highest business taxes in the country, and that's what these pamphlets are about. And it is alienating businesses, and people are not expanding. I know of a couple of small businesses that want to expand, but they say that it's just not worth it. They're not going to make enough money from it. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We need to increase small businesses. Small businesses are 40% of the economy, the GDP. So we need to have more small businesses. I like to see more restaurants open. I mean, look at Rome. Look at all the restaurants that have closed in Rome in the past couple of years. The city is just dwindling, and it doesn't have to be that way. If we can bring in the jobs, the base industries to Griffiths Park. Say, for example, I'm going to be soliciting Boeing, for example. Now, Boeing has a bad reputation right now with their planes, and that's going to be another issue. But there's also Airbus and Embraer, other plane manufacturings. We have a 2-mile runway at Griffiths Park. We can capitalize on that. We can bring
and you don't see the successes at Griffith. You do not see Griffith as a success.
Some success, but I don't see
not enough.
Not enough.
For you.
I think we can do better. I believe we can do better. Rome is such a great place, and the Mohawk Valley is just full of really great people and smart people. And even those that are not college degreed with a high school diploma are still highly educated. They're highly intelligent people.
Can I ask you why you wouldn't? And I'll wrap it with this, and then if there's anything else, I'll give you the chance to bring those things up. Why wouldn't you run as a Democrat? Because there is as you said, there's a supermajority in New York State. If let's say you were to win, and you became a Democrat, you would be a part of the majority and not a part of the minority. So it is very difficult for Senator Griffo, right? You've said it, because he has to rely on Democrats in some cases to get things passed, people working together. But if you were a Democrat, you would be in the majority.
The Democrats would not listen to my policies. It just came down to when I was a Democrat. I was a Democrat for a long time because I believed in taking care of the poor, sick, and elderly, which is something that the Republican Party did not do. Now, I'm a born-again Christian also, and I believe in that. I'm a follower of Christ. So I believe in taking care of the poor, sick, and elderly. But when it got to the point that the Democrats started saying, we want free housing, we want free childcare, we want free food, we want free this, free education, I said, that's not what America's about. That's not what the government's job is to do.
Yeah.
We need a smaller government. We need people to pay for those things for themselves. We need to give them the opportunities to make the money themselves. And we're not doing that. That's the job of the legislator, is to create opportunities for people to fulfill them.
So I want to go back to the Lion's Den thing, because when being a person of Christ, you do as Jesus would do, right? And Jesus worked with everybody, even the lepers. So I am
it's the leper's den is what it is.
I am your leper. Think of it that way.
No, I don't think of it that way.
Well, but I'm saying I'm not going to necessarily agree with you.
No, that's fine.
But at the same time, you cannot deny those that might disagree with you.
Not at all.
Think of me as your leper, and this could be the way that we move forward and communicate.
I'm not going to think of you as a leper.
Okay,
I just think of you as somebody that has a
My
different
limbs
view.
are who has a different view. I do have a different view, and many of the things that you talk about.
But what I feel the Democrat policies, the stuff that is coming out of Albany is just becoming too oppressive. In my opinion, the Working Families Party, well, this is not an opinion, this is a fact. They are a communist organization. They are affiliated with the Communist Party USA. Now, they have at least 8 senators in the state legislature, I think, and they are dictating policy. I mean, look at all the things that are coming out of Albany, like the getting rid of your gas stove, for example. I mean, certain policies are just too far.
But it's funny, your opponent, Senator Griffo, these are things that he complains about all the time.
And he probably does. I have seen his voting record, and he usually votes no on the same things I would have voted no. So we do have that similarity. The difference between Joe Griffo and I believe, is the fact that when he is turned down or one of his bills does not go through, he lets it go. He just gives up. I don't give up.
You don't.
I fight back.
All right. Which is why you are here today. All right. Anything else you want to hit on your paperwork there?
No. I think we tackled everything. It's just that we need a change in the area. We need a change in the state. And the reason why I switched to Republicans is because I believe the Republican Party is more in tune with what the people want at this point. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I don't like him as a person. I would never want to be his friend. But I am going to vote for him because I believe he's the best leader in the country. And if we don't get a hold on the communist and Marxist agendas that's going on in Albany and in the Democratic Party, we're going to end up that way ourselves.
Anything anybody else wants to question?
I hope America decides to include on the voting ballots in the future the names of all the people running, but also none of the above. And if none of the above wins, they got to do a new election with new humans and work it out.
That's not a bad idea. And when the Founding Fathers started the country, they used a ranked choice of voting. And when George Washington was the first president nominated, John Adams was nominated as vice president because of the way the voting was done through the delegates. Now, in that day, it was just basically you had 4 or 5 candidates, and then whoever got the most amount of votes was president, then vice president, then secretary of state, and down the ladder. I wonder if that system could work today. I don't know. I think it would not, because we need strong leadership. Now, in my opinion, Trump would be a good president, DeSantis a good vice president, possibly a president in 2028.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to do ranked choice voting, and they put in, for example, Nikki Haley, they wanted as vice president, I'm not sure that Nikki Haley and Donald Trump could work together. So that's complicated when you get into that. So ranked choice voting is one thing that
we probably should take it one step at a time.
That's a different issue.
There's the whole fundraising aspect of that, too.
There's a lot there.
A lot of people you'd upset the apple cart with that.
I think that. All right. Well, listen, we will thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You'll be out. I'm assuming you got to get signatures to get on the ballot.
Yes.
When will that process begin?
February 27th through April the 6th.
Okay, and hopefully the weather is cooperating.
Oh, gosh, I hope so.
Yep.
I hate walking in ice.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
you so much. Thank you. Let me bring in Ryan Nobles from NBC. Ryan, you've been listening to a bit of this. You have any comments?
Well, Bill, you've been called many things, but I don't know if you've ever been called a leper. That's
a leper. Well,
I didn't call him that either.
It was Ryan. It was almost self-proclaimed when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're your own worst enemy in many ways, Bill.
Yeah. There is no doubt about it. Ryan Nobles, listen, stand by. I'm going to. Do you need a break?
I need a break. Yes.
I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with you. So stand by. Ryan Nobles next on WIBX.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
There's no better time than the new year to help protect your identity and finances. LifeLock detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. If you do become a victim, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com. Promo code CLAY to save 25%. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back with 24/7 support to make sure everything goes right. Confirming with the restaurant, guiding drivers when they need delivery instructions, making sure the food arrives on time and is ordered. But if there's a problem...
Thanks for calling EasyCater.
Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. Because food for work has to work. And we're right here to make sure it does. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
At Destination Kia of Utica, get more for $24.
With a 50-inch smart TV included with every new or certified pre-owned Kia.
And no money down leases on over 250 new Kias.
Like a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS that gets 39 miles per gallon highway for only $328 a month for 36 months.
With 0 down, 0 due at inception, and sales tax included.
And that's just one example of the deals on over 250 new Kias.
Only at the family-owned and operated Destination Kia of Utica.
Now that's kooky.
So go kooky for Kia at Destination Kia. Puppies and babies not included.
Stock number 23F0075, MSRP 21,555, 36 months, 30,000-mile lease, 20 cents per mile over, 0 due at inception, $0 security deposit, 8.75% sales tax, and $650 acquisition fee included in payment structure, $400 disposition fee, 720 plus FICO score, EPA rating, Kia, January-December 2023 sales report, TV retail value $300, prior orders excluded, offer expires 1/31/2024.
Hey guys, Sewell Claycomb of Claycomb Auto Sales, and you know what? You deserve it. You've worked hard, you're in the middle of, or you've raised your children, you've done the right thing, you've denied yourself of the things that you've wanted, you're still driving that junker. Now you deserve to do what you want to do. You deserve to get that vehicle that you've always wanted. You deserve it. So do it. Claycomb Auto Sales, Westmoreland, ClaycombAutoSales.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's we've got about 5 minutes to squeeze in. Ryan Noble's here. Ryan, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Oh, wonderful.
Putting on a brave face for you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Just consider me your little leper here in Utica.
Sorry for the delay.
All right. So let's talk about the primary last night. I like your take. Certainly, I don't think the former president, is very pleased that Nikki Haley is not getting out. In fact, she kind of looked at the numbers close to single digits, almost, about 9% she loses by, somewhere in that range, almost as a bit of a hopeful vote. She's looking at it that way. What is your take on that?
Well, I think we need to definitely temper our expectations here. I mean, the thing about primaries, and I think we've talked about this a lot, is that primaries aren't so much about winning and losing. They're about the expectations going in and whether or not you deliver on those expectations. And I don't think there's any doubt that Donald Trump fell well short of the expectations for what this vote was going to be last night. I mean, I don't think I saw a poll at all. I mean, we were doing a tracking poll with Suffolk University in our local station in Boston that I think, the last day of it, he was up to 18 points. The margin was thought to be at least north of 15, so it's going to probably end up somewhere between 9 and 11. So that's 5 or 6 points off of what they thought. And what that demonstrates to me is that there was, New Hampshire's a big momentum state. And the late deciders often make the difference between what we saw in the polls and what ends up happening. And it's clear that the people that were waiting until the last minute to decide broke with Haley. Now, that wasn't nearly enough for her to win. And the problem that she has is that it's a one-on-one race now. So she has no more excuses. And I don't think we should kid ourselves in any way, shape, or form that Donald Trump isn't going to be the nominee. He's 100% going to win the nomination and probably win it relatively easy. But I think there were a lot of underlying issues that came out of that primary yesterday that are real red flags for him heading into the November election. Particularly the way he performed with independents and moderates and the volume of people who said that they would never vote for him under any circumstances, that voted in a Republican primary. I think the exit poll said somewhere between 35 and 40%.
Yeah.
That's huge. And New Hampshire's a swing state. That's a state he's never won. And if that stays in Joe Biden's column, that's going to make it just that much easier for him to win the presidency.
It is a lot of independents. But you're seeing that around the country. I think people who are feeling disenfranchised with whether it be the Democrat or the Republican Party, you're seeing them turn independent. So there are many of those independent voters around the country.
Well, and that's why I think, Donald Trump was working the reps leading up to the vote last night by whining that there were more independents and moderates and even some Democrats that switched and voted in that primary yesterday as evidence that Nikki Haley's results shouldn't be viewed as strongly as they were. But I think we're looking at it the wrong way. This isn't about the Republican primary. The Republican primary is over. Donald Trump is the nominee.
I agree.
And that means he needs to start winning over independent and moderate voters. He can't win the election without them. And so if he's losing independent and moderate voters amongst a group of people that are willing to vote for a Republican, right? I mean, you have to assume, Bill, that 45% of the country is not going to vote for a Republican under any circumstance. So in a primary where people are willing to cast a ballot for a Republican, 33% or 35% say they would never vote for him. That is a real red flag for him.
Yeah.
And it's a huge deficit that he doesn't appear to be willing to try and carve into, because all of his messaging is directly to the right wing of the Republican Party.
All right, we'll do this again next week when we have more time. Ryan, as always, thank you. We'll be watching on NBC. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks for not talking to me about the Bills. I appreciate that.
Okay. Oh, don't even get me started. All right, thank you, Ryan.
All right, have a good one, Bill. Thanks.
You do the same. WIBX Utica Rome, it's 9 o'clock.
Iowa and you in New Hampshire, they've never had a loss. There's never been. So we're not going to be the first, I can tell you.
And former President Trump was not happy after he won the Republican New Hampshire primary. Then Nikki Haley called it a great night for her.
It's time to put the negativity and chaos behind us.
You can't let people get away with bullshit, okay? You can't. You just can't do that.
Now, Haley said this race is far from over with dozens of states left.
The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
And that was an 11-point Trump victory margin. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal breaks it down from Nashua, New Hampshire.
62% of unaffiliated voters went for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. 70% of registered Republicans went with former President Trump, according to the Fox News voter analysis. Just over half of Haley's supporters here voted for President Biden in 2020.
Now, the president won the Democratic primary in New Hampshire, even though he wasn't on the ballot. The party's ignoring that contest, wanting South Carolina to count first next month. But more than 60% of voters wrote the Biden name in. Dean Phillips was on the ballot, got about 20% in New Hampshire, and the congressman tells Fox he'll stay in the Democratic race.
And the truth is that I think Joe Biden is the only person that Donald Trump can beat.
For the 9th time in less than 2 weeks, the U.S. went on the attack in Yemen, hitting Houthi militant targets to stop more attacks on ships in and around the Red Sea. There was also an American strike in Iraq, hitting other Iran-backed militants.
Iraq now branding these aggressive actions that will lead to irresponsible escalation. U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked more than 150 times since the war between Israel and Hamas began.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A Russian military plane crashed near the border with Ukraine, killing 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war. Russia claims that Ukraine shot the plane down. America's listening to Fox News.